We're almost there, and just about to get the two captains together, toss the coin. The action about to get up and running. It is the final Premiership fixture, the final SPFL fixture of the weekend. It's live here in Sportsound as Aberdeen and Hearts go head to head with Craig Levine, Willie Miller and Paul Mitchell.
Thank you, Richard. Good afternoon, everybody. Pittodrie bathed in sunshine for this meeting of Aberdeen and Hearts. Hearts won last time out when these sides met back in March by 2-0. Hearts haven't won back-to-back meetings against Aberdeen since 2016. That was also under Robbie Neilson. But just from that game in March, Hearts start 3 players that started that day. Aberdeen start just 1, and it's Conor Barron, who's the one Aberdeen player who started at Tynecastle that day, who starts here this afternoon. So fresh faces for this fixture as Barry Mackay stands in the centre circle. Hearts in the white jerseys, maroon shorts, white socks with a maroon band going from left to right. Aberdeen all in red, and we're underway this afternoon. Lovely long ball gets played forward by Hearts on the angle, breaks back inside the Hearts half, and Toby Civic gets away from Duke and knocks the ball out of play. Jim Goodwin gathers and lays it for Jack McKenzie to take the throw on the halfway line. McKenzie with the throw. Majewski comes short for it. Immediately closed down. Kemart Zrogluk trying to close him down. And McKenzie has to play it back onto Scales, very firm back to his goalkeeper, who's just at the edge of his 6-yard box. Nobody near him, so he'll take it for a little walk and start his way forward. Sends Anthony Stewart away and hits it right-footed inside the Hearts half, headed forward by Civic out wide to that left-hand side. Fighting for it is Richardson. Richardson trying to get on the end of it. Cochrane comes across, he's challenged Barron well and knocks it down the side. Cochrane got caught and went out of play. Barron might be in trouble here. It's a yellow card. Richardson coming through, and the card coming out. Willie Miller, one of the finest referees Scotland ever had.
It's a booking.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's straightforward. You know, Richardson, no attempt to play the ball whatsoever. I don't know what he's thinking about this early in the game. There's no need for it whatsoever, and he gets himself a yellow card. For me, it's silly. I think the manager should be having a word with him. Why, oh why do you need to put yourself under pressure when there's nothing happening? Where is the ball going? It's going nowhere, and he's just, I think it's just gone out for a throw in, isn't it?
Yeah, throw in. There was absolutely no danger. Craig Levine alongside me as well. I mean, I'm with Willie. I was amazed he bothered to follow through on the challenge.
It was madness.
Yeah,
it really was. And I mean, obviously it's right on the far side of the pitch, so we can't see exactly what happened, but there was a lot of force there. And you know, you never know whether that could have been a red card or not. It's something that we get a look at later, but it was just stupid.
Duke gathers as Hearts have played the ball forward, but he's dispossessed. Civic trying to track him on that left-hand side, can't step away from Barron, comes out wide onto Richardson. He's given the ball away though to Lauren Shanklin. Shanklin plays the ball inside, it's given away to Barron, but a good strong tackle. Snodgrass comes forward, nice little touch by Barron, but Hearts win it again, play it forward, try a little 1-2. It was Forrest trying to link up with Humphreys. Forrest has the ball, but he's trying to come wide. Clarkson goes in, and Forrest takes him down just below us. It's a free kick to Aberdeen. Plenty of tempo, Craig.
Yeah, I just spotted that Humphreys was offside there actually when the ball came forward, and the linesman was in line with it and didn't put his flag up.
So our assistants, John McCrossan, Michael Banks, Ian Snedden is the 4th official this afternoon. Forward by McCrory. Cochrane stumbles. That's going to be picked up by Barron as Hearts tried to clear. He's going to play it out wide onto Jack McKenzie outside the box, left-hand side, now by the corner flag. Gathers, drops the shoulder, looking to go on the outside. It's a great little ball across. Hearts get away through Kingsley, outside the area it comes. Drops back to Aberdeen once more, back to McKenzie. Aberdeen pushing down that left-hand side. McKenzie gets the ball in. There's a shout for a penalty as the long ball gets scooped high up and over the top. Didn't look much in it. The players didn't ask for anything, Willie Miller. That tells you all you need to know.
I don't think it was a penalty. There was a challenge. I think it was Duke that goes down in the box, but no penalty. But, young Conor Barron again, that's what he brings to the field of play. He picks the ball up in the midfield. It's a sublime pass out to McKenzie, absolutely wonderful. But he's not finished. He's then wanting to take part, and as the ball comes across, it eventually falls to Barron, inside the box. So he can light up the field of players, no doubt about that. And that's why he's starting this afternoon.
It was a left-footed pass as well, wasn't it? Yeah. That isn't his preferred foot.
Good blocking by Humphreys as Scales tried to bring the ball out from the back for Aberdeen. As Richard mentioned it, the pitch was in pristine condition, but you look where Aberdeen were doing their warm-up, you can see where they've been running just the little short sprints up and back again in 3 groups. You can see it just outside the Aberdeen penalty box. So the pitch is marked down there as Cochrane has the ball, turns away from Majowski. Back onto Craig Gordon. Kingsley, Snodgrass makes himself available. Hearts have it on this right-hand side through Civic. Civic closed down quickly by Leighton Clarkson. Leighton Clarkson, first start since the match against Ross County. He started very brightly as an Aberdeen player, Willie, and just a little dip in form, but he'll be looking to get back onto things today. Yeah,
I think he picked up an injury as well that kept him out too. So yeah, you know, it's a couple of youngsters in the heart of the midfield, very talented youngsters. So Clarkson along with Barron will be looking to have a major impact in the game.
But the voice of Willie Miller here on BBC Radio Scotland. Aberdeen line up with Kelly Rose in goal. It's McCrory, Stewart and Scales. It's the back 3 we expected. Richardson and McKenzie, the wing backs. Ramadani and Barron in the midfield. Siras, Clarkson and Duke either side of Majowski. Ball is out of play, just in front of Jim Goodwin. Jack McKenzie stands over it. It's his first Scottish Premiership start of the season. Started in the League Cup against Annan. Picks up, rolls the ball back onto Scales, and Scales into the penalty area. Roos, the Dutchman, gets it back from Scales. Humphreys closes him down, so he just knocks the ball long. Majowski killed it beautifully. Touched inside onto Clarkson. Clarkson sends it long. Duke trying to get him behind Kingsley. Kingsley just did enough, played it off Duke, and it fell back to Craig Gordon, who gets the ball away. It's a potential handball as Forrest plays it forward. Humphreys is fouling Scales. Didn't even bother to look back to see where the ball was. Bulldozed through Aberdeen's number 4, free kick to Aberdeen.
Yeah, I think that's why he got caught, because he actually didn't look. He wasn't looking at the ball. He was just trying to find Scales and just tried to outmuscle him. It was just too obvious.
Yeah, you expect a bit more subtlety, Willie, from a forward trying to take out a defender.
Yeah, and you know, I thought it was rather silly of him to you know, give away a free kick in that situation, because Scales wasn't in a particularly good position with the ball lobbed over his head. He had to turn and get himself back, and if Humphreys had been a little bit cuter, then you know, it could have been an opportunity for him.
Stephen Humphreys, who gave Hearts fans the moment they wanted in Fiorentina, the old stadium, was brought to life for the Hearts fans when he rattled the ball on the back of the net. Hearts are a man down as Richardson continues down on that right hand side. He's outside the area, he's up against Cochrane, he's delayed his cross, hits it against Cochrane, goes out and behind, and Hearts just, I think, could be
it's Halliday. Yeah, I think he's damaged a muscle, maybe a calf or something like that, just the way he pulled up really sharply.
I don't think there's any contact.
No, there was nobody near him.
Nobody near him, he's just went down, so you know, it's concerning moments, you know, for Halliday, for Robbie Nielsen, you know, maybe having to make a change this early in the game.
Well, there's certain professions that bring with it real danger, and the insurance companies hate that kind of thing. Hearts aren't going to get any insurance for the defenders at the moment because they keep dropping like flies. This could be another one. Andy Halliday going down. Well, that could mean a change. Lewis Nielsen perhaps coming off the bench.
Yeah, I would think he would be the natural choice. Probably must be wondering what's going on, you know, with the defenders or guys who can actually play as defenders who have picked up sort of fairly serious injuries. And Halliday doesn't lie down for no reason, and so I would suspect that it's something, you know, fairly serious. It looked like a muscle injury for me.
You guys have both managed at the top level. I mean, when you get one section of your team that gets absolutely decimated, you then start looking around to see, you know, who in the midfield you can pull back in to the defensive areas. But at this level, it's very punishing for somebody having to play so far out of position.
Well, it is, but you know, you've just got to ask, you know, whoever it is that you think can play in that position to be with you and to kind of support you and take on the role. But it's a horrible situation to be in when you're a coach, a manager, and you're, you know, constantly getting injuries, particularly in one department. You know, if it's spread throughout the team, you can usually cope with it, but if it's just all in one department, very, very difficult. You know, to get through a period and ask players to play out of position. You know, but that's all you can do, Paul. That's all you can do is try to make the best of the squad that you've got.
Andy Halliday is still down on that far side.
I think Nielsen's coming on, Paul. He's getting stripped down at dugout.
Yeah, Hearts, obviously the message across very, very quickly. The stretcher is there. Andy Halliday remains down. He's now sitting up, which is good news for him. He's looking over his shoulder. He's engaging the referee in conversation. He's being helped to his feet. We're going to have to take the weight off. He's trying to stretch out himself, Andy Halliday. You said it yourself, Craig. I mean, he's made of strong stuff. He's a stubborn character as well.
I'd be amazed if he comes back on.
Right Achilles issue at the moment. And Hearts, well, they are going to make that change. It's just the indication from one side to the other. Andy Halliday is hobbling. And it will be Lewis Nielsen who will come on. So a change made this early, 9 minutes on the clock, but obviously been stopped for 2 or 3 minutes. Substitute shows the studs to the fourth official. And there is the change being made. Ryan McLaughlin is our pitch side guy, giving us the news about the Achilles issue, and Nielsen comes on. So Halliday begins that long walk round as Aberdeen take the corner. Driven back onto Barron. Barron into the middle it goes, swiping out Ramadani. Header comes in from Stuart. Majowski tries the overhead kick, but he's offside. It wouldn't have counted. And Hearts will get the chance to clear. Hearts have got another player down. Majowski went for that overhead kick. I don't think it's anything serious. Looks like a little bit of a back injury. And Hearts are back to full strength. I've had to go to the bench early. It's Aberdeen 0, Hearts 0 here on BBC Radio Scotland. 10.5 minutes gone. And there's Craig Gordon. Gets ready to take the touch.
Nielsen's gone to right back, with Civic moving into right centre half, Kingsley left centre half, and Cochrane's playing in his preferred position of left back now.
All change, all shuffled along. And there's the ball was sent long over the halfway line. Stewart under pressure from Shanklin, won it well. Kiyomotoglu sends the ball forward. Aberdeen repel, but it comes out onto this near side onto Forrest. Forrest sends it down the side. Kiyomotoglu tries to chase it down, but it's cleared away by Liam Scales. Thumps off the technical area. And Nielsen strides forward. And takes an extra step or two. Throws the ball out. Brought down onto Humphrey. Scored in the last 2 for Hearts. Lays the ball back inside onto Snodgrass. Mackay. On the overlap is Kingsley. Kingsley, now it's out wide with Cochrane. Cochrane back inside onto Snodgrass, outside the area, left hand side, plays it in. Simple header away though. Easy one for McCrory. It comes back onto Civic. Civic takes a touch, turns the ball out wide on that far side, and we gather back. Alex Cochrane. Cochrane gathers, closed down by Barron, sends it down the side, try to work with Kingsley. On the overlap, and Aberdeen track back well, and it's back to the goalkeeper, who sends it long into the air. Civic trying to get the header, he does so. Ramadani sends the reply back over the halfway line. Duke and Nielsen tangling with each other. The referee's allowed play to continue. Duke inside the area, cuts inside, that could be a penalty. Kiyomotoglu took down Duke in the area. Aberdeen are furious, they want a penalty. And I know it's now a trope this weekend to say that would go to VAR, but that would go to VAR, and the ball is back. Belarus, Willie Miller.
It certainly looked as though there was contact in the box, and Duke had control of the ball as well. He was taking on the Hearts player. Looked like contact. He went down. It was a big call from the referee not to give that one. For me, sitting up here, and I didn't have the perfect view on it, it looked very much as though the spot should have been pointed to.
Yeah, I thought there was a foul before that, Willie. I thought that Duke pulled Keogh back. I thought it was a free kick to Hearts before it even got to the point where it was in the penalty area. But we'll see on the BBC television tonight.
Well, it's a talking point early in the game. 13 minutes gone. Aberdeen and Hearts locked it 0-0, and Aberdeen feel they should have had a spot kick. Now the ball is sent long, headed back inside. The Hearts gather the ball away to the halfway line, but it's picked up by Scales. Scales plays it through. Duke goes down under the challenge, and Nielsen play on, says the referee. Kiyomotoglu now will send it out wide. And Kingsley lays it off onto Snodgrass. Snodgrass sends a long ball that should just sneak inside the area, coming down the left hand side, taken by Roos. That remains 0-0. Roos just taking a little touch. Hearts going into this. No wins in the last 4, includes the 2 matches against Fiorentina. His budget is kind of huge. and one game against Rangers as well. Played out wide onto that far side. Barron gets taken down by Snodgrass. Referee basically points out that looks like an experienced player having a little go and just saying, I'm right behind you.
Yeah, I would think so. But the young player has then got to realise that might just happen when you come up against a player like Snodgrass with all the experience that he has. And you know, in a way it's a mark of respect as well, because he knows that Barnes a good player and he just wants to literally perhaps make his mark on him.
Roost plays the free kick forward. Aberdeen coming from right to left up to the edge of the area. It's won well by Civic. Breaks to Richardson. Richardson just outside the area. Crosses in. Headed down the middle by Kingsley. Jack McKenzie waits for it. Takes it down on his chest. Couldn't get the shot away. So he'll play the ball out wide. Picked up by Clarkson. Clarkson with a cross. It's too deep. Although the idea was right. Richardson was racing in from the right hand side. The ball goes behind. It's a goal kick. And Craig Levine, it remains 0-0.
Yeah, but it's been a decent start to the game. I think both teams are intent on taking the game to the opposition. Yeah, and you know, playing with Hearts and particularly playing with two strikers, and to a degree, so are Aberdeen. You know, so it's quite a positive start to the match.
Looking for goal 175 of this young season, and Hearts are looking for it. They're coming forward down this right hand side. Forrest being tracked back by McKenzie. McKenzie got some help from Ramadani, but it was held on by Forrest. Back to Mackay. Gilmore Zoglu lays the ball back to the halfway line. That sends Toby Civic chasing his way back. Kingsley now on that far side, left hand side, got away from Barron, was being tugged. The referee said play on. Lays the ball forward onto Shanklin. Shanklin though dispossessed by Clarkson. Aberdeen get the ball back to the goalkeeper, who sends it long over the halfway line. Civic waits for it, gets the header forward, breaks to Clarkson, sends it high in the air. First time Civic again drops the ball down. Snodgrass brings it back to the turf and plays it out wide on to Cochrane. Cochrane said to Snodgrass, you can have it back, and he plays it back to Kingsley. Now on to Civic. Civic on to Lewis Nielsen. Nielsen, his first season with Hearts, plays the ball forward, gets it on to Barry Mackay. Yellow boots down on this right hand side, lays it forward to Humphreys. Humphreys is strong against Scales, now in the shade down by the corner flag, making his way towards the area, tries to nip it past Scales. Scales then got the touch but had to play the ball away so as not to concede, and Alan Forrest tried to keep it in, tried to get the touch away from Ramadani. I think he was trying to say to Ramadani, I'll take the throw, and then just tried to be quick and keep the ball in. All he did, Craig, was knock the ball out.
I think it was a poor choice actually. The ball's going out for a throw in, allows Hearts to get themselves, if you want to bring bodies up the field for a long throw or whatever, but he tried to keep it in, and obviously he didn't quite manage it, so just the wrong decision.
Scales sends the ball long, little head flick on. Majorski from Duke plays it forward. Hearts for shouting for handball. It's given. Robbie Nielsen leads the applause from the left hand side and then nips back into the technical area, incurring the wrath of the referee. Civic plays the ball out wide. Kingsley. So, as Craig said, it's now Kingsley and Civic in the centre of defence. Cochrane one side, Lewis Nielsen the other. It's Nielsen who's played the ball forward towards Humphreys. Humphreys up against Scales. Scales does well to step in front of him, but Humphreys then, as the ball comes outside the area, did well to step back in front, flick the ball against Scales. Out of play it goes, thrown to Hearts.
He's strong, isn't he, Humphreys?
And he's chosen to play against Scales.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
You know, he's parked himself right beside Scales so that, you know, I don't think he'd have quite the same sort of chance of bullying
Stewart.
Stewart. I mean, he's a tough fella, isn't he?
Yeah. He's made the right choice there, I think, and he does fancy his chances, and so far he's
improving.
Dangerous, yeah.
He's improving. I've watched quite a lot of him recently, and I think every time he's played 90 minutes he looks better and better.
Ball gets played forward by Hearts, 0-0 here. Paddy Mackay. Mackay moves away from Ramadani inside. Kiermont Zogler out wide onto Snodgrass. Kingsley, Cochrane's outside him. Kingsley's going to try and play that into the area. Stewart does well, jabs the ball away. Diving header by Snodgrass will bring it to Mackay. Mackay flicks it away under pressure from Duke back towards the halfway line. Nielsen wants movement and then plays the pass. He didn't get the movement he was looking for. Shanklin chases after it. It's knocked away well by Scales, only as far as Mackay. Mackay hits it forward to Forrest. Forrest returns it to him. They tried to play the ball to Shanklin, but he's back to him. And now Aberdeen through Clarkson can open the ball up onto Barron. Barron plays a long ball through. It's an adventurous ball, but it goes just outside the area, and Craig Gordon has to race outside his box Kieran Richardson did really well down that right-hand side. Barron picks out the pass again, and Aberdeen get a throw.
Yeah, a wonderful pass, wasn't it?
It's brilliant again.
Barron again, he's going to send it long this time. That's not so good from the youngster on that occasion, but he can pick a pass.
But that's what he gives you, and Craig knows him as well. And you know, watched him last season, and I've certainly seen enough of him. And you know, there's only one thing in his mind when he gets the ball in that midfield area:
pass forward.
Can I pass it forward? Can I pass it forward? And he can execute it as well.
And if it's difficult, he's not scared to take it on, as you saw with that pass there. But the pass was actually perfect because Craig Gordon couldn't do anything with it. It was outside the penalty area. And I mean, there's such a difference between playing the ball there and playing the ball inside the penalty area. It becomes just an easy pick up for Craig, but it was very, very smart.
Aberdeen pick up in the midfield as Hearts trying to clear. Ramadani onto McKenzie, being forced back to the halfway line. Runs into Shanklin, who wins the ball. Kieran Zoglu forward. Stewart comes through the back of Humphreys on the halfway line to win the ball, and the referee gives the free kick to Hearts, a yard inside the Aberdeen half.
Possibly a free kick.
Yeah, forward knew what he was doing, just trying to shield the ball, knew the contact was coming.
I think Stewart likes a bit of contact with a centre forward, and he hasn't had too many opportunities so far in the game, but he certainly took that as an opportunity, and the referee deemed it to be illegal.
And as what you were talking about earlier, if Humphreys had any doubting his decision to play up against Scales after getting clattered there, he realises he'd made the right call. Snodgrass, halfway line for Hearts. Hearts and Aberdeen, 0-0. Beautiful Sunday afternoon, mid-October. Humphreys comes forward, beats two, he's going to try the shot. It's high, it's not particularly pretty, it's well over the top. 2 goals in his last 2 games, feels it was worth a try, but well over, remains 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, he must have been a confident mood to try and pass and to try and shoot from there. What was that, 40 yards out, Willie?
It was, but I can understand, and you might find that strange, me talking about a striker understanding what goes through his mind, but he's danced by 2 players. He's actually built the play up well, too, and it's just felt perfectly for him. It was adventurous, but he got enough power on it. If he keeps it down, it's going to test the goalkeeper, but I can understand fully what was going through his mind.
In terms of entertainment, that's what we want to see. That was adventurous. We've seen Connor Barron with a couple of great passes. Accentuate the positive, there's been plenty of it so far. No goals.
Tempo of the game's been good from both teams.
Yeah, Aberdeen looked like a team who were playing well at home, looking to win a 3rd straight at home as Clarkson plays the ball forward to Majorski. Majorski can't get there. Majorski scored in his last 5 home games, scored in the last 4 of these have been in the Scottish Premiership. Doubles along the way as well. Well, he's a man in great form. 8 goals this season, all of them coming on this Pittodrie turf. Snodgrass lays the ball back, picked up by Civic. Civic gathers, just moving his way to the halfway line. Snodgrass pokes it out onto this right hand side. Nielsen forward onto Alan Forrest. Forrest lays the ball back onto Civic. Civic 4th start of the season, came off the bench in Florence. Out wide it goes. Cochrane back along to Kingsley, to Civic. Civic on to Lewis Nielsen. Aberdeen chasing the ball at the moment as Nielsen plays the ball forward. Kieran Zoglu lays it off on towards Humphreys. Stewart comes across, knocks the ball out of play, got in front of Humphreys. Hearts have the throw. And this Kieran Zoglu decides he's going to leave that for Alan Forrest. Shanklin in the area for Hearts. Humphreys is there. Kieran Zoglu. The ball was thrown in, it came up and hit him on the elbow, and the referee deems handball, and Aberdeen get it. Liam Scales is giving the assistant a little bit of a tough time for not raising his flag about that, but the referee had that decision under control.
Yeah, I think he saw it, so it's very straightforward. Yeah, the ball did just bounce up off his knee and onto his arm.
It was always going to be given. Well, I say always, 99% of the time. Aberdeen and Hearts 0-0. Aberdeen with a penalty claim after 12 minutes. Going inside the area, Kieran Zoglu challenged him. I have to say, from here it looked like a penalty as the ball gets played forward. Headed away by Kingsley, drops down just short of the centre circle. Shanklin chases after it. McCrory comes in on the halfway line, turns the ball back onto Roos. Steps outside of his area. ever present for Aberdeen this season. Dutch goalie sends it long. That's going to be an awkward one. Craig Gordon was very late to come off his line. Nielsen comes back. Gordon seemed to play it into Nielsen. The Aberdeen fans behind the goal are shouting, I think, for a penalty as the ball approached the body. Nielsen, it's not gone out. Duke has it, plays it into the middle. Sibic has to head it away. Breaks to the edge of the area. McKenzie is there. McKenzie lays it back. Lovely little touch and turn by Clarkson, but doesn't get away from his man. Now we'll play it in. Hearts turn it away first time. Ramadani will gather, could push it out wide. Connor Barron is there. Richardson available on the shade on that far side. Closed down quickly by Cochrane. Ball pushed back onto Barron inside. Onto Ramadani, nearly passes it behind Barron. Snodgrass catches Barron as he tries to go on the outside of him, and that's a free kick. And again, Snodgrass, I'm fairly certain, knew what he was doing. Blocked the run of Barron going down the side. Free kick, Aberdeen.
Yes, I think the shout was for the handball, wasn't it? I mean, it's impossible for us to
but
see.
he had his back to us.
Yeah, it's impossible for us to see, but the shout did go up. It was a rather awkward situation, and I think, you know, as that ball comes over, I think Craig Gordon has got to make a decision. Stay on your line or make sure you come out and get it, and they did neither.
Free kick down the side, inside the area. Barron plays it across. Shankland it was who comes and blocks and turns the ball behind. And it's going to be a corner for Aberdeen. And Craig Levine, if Hearts have had problems this season, set plays have been right at the top of that list.
Yeah, Sibic coming back, and obviously height-wise, and Nielsen coming on would help that scenario. A lot of time it's just about your determination in these situations.
Clarkson plays it in. Shanklin gets the header ahead of McCrory. Ball outside the area, picked up again. Beautifully done by Clarkson, but again Hearts. Snodgrass makes the challenge in the area, and Hearts now trying to break out wide. Shanklin will step inside Stewart, lays the ball inside. Kiermert Zoglu all the way back onto Cochrane, inside onto Snodgrass. 25 minutes gone in this one, 0-0. All over the halfway line onto Alan Forrest, and the ball laid back. In terms of goals in the first half, 67 of the 174 so far this season have gone in the first half. So second half, and certainly the last 15 minutes of games where most goals are scored so far. As Hearts play the ball out wide down that far side, Richardson is forced to take a touch. He's up against Kingsley, he does well, and then tries to send the ball forward. Kingsley blocks him. That's a goal kick. It's excellent play, excellent defending from the man from Nottingham, Jadon Richardson.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he? You know, he's not noted or known for his good defensive play, but on that occasion, you know, he stuck with his man. He made sure that he got tight him, didn't dive in, and you know, actually by winning the ball and you know, taking the threat away, he's done exactly what he should be doing.
Hearts gather on the far side. Civic, Kiermert Zoglu. Not seen the best of him in a Hearts jersey yet. Hearts fans perhaps a tad disappointed with the way the German has began his Hearts career. This is start number 5. Ball out wide. Mackay takes the touch, tries to get away for Ramadani. Ramadani does well, but Mackay comes back to win the ball. Brushes off Snodgrass. I'll take it. And he turns and plays the ball back onto Kingsley inside. Onto Snodgrass. Snodgrass trying to drive forward. Little pass short onto Forrest. Back to Snodgrass. It is opened up for Nielsen, but he's going to clip the ball forward, looking for Shankland instead. It's headed away. Oh, Duke and Snodgrass gone down. I think Snodgrass caught him, and Duke's okay. It's a long ball forward. Majowski could get away from Kingsley. He has done. He's got no support. Barron now comes in. Majowski steps past 2. Chance for Aberdeen. He's going to drag that across goal. The ball still hasn't actually gone out of play yet, and Craig Gordon has to come outside his area to gather, and he does so. Well, Majowski had 2 defenders with him, and somehow he out-muscled him and managed to get the shot away.
It was intelligent play as well. You know, there was an element of the strength to it, but you know, again, he's making sure that he's concentrating in the ball. I think Kingsley actually, he had run by the ball as it bounced. The bounce seemed to kind of beat him, and Majowski taking full advantage of it, and then just trying to create a little bit of space to get the shot, and he did that, but he just tugged it, and it went well past the far post.
Hearts get the throw. Humphreys throws it into the area. Shanklin shoots all over him. Back onto Humphreys. Sends the ball across. Oh, what a miss! Alex Cochrane, 5 yards out, simply just had to hammer the ball into the back of the net. He missed it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Oh, that's a howler from Cochrane.
Well, we've seen some misses recently, but that takes a biscuit. I mean, the ball comes across the face of the goal. The goalkeeper's at the front post. He's out the equation almost. All he needs to do is make any contact at all on target, and he scores. and he's bundled the ball into the ground, and it was just a woeful effort, wasn't it?
Oh, it's incredible, you know. And as you say, Craig, any kind of a clean contact to that, because the ball is coming at such a pace that if you just open your foot up and side pass it almost like that pace actually takes it into the back of the net, and he doesn't. He mishits it completely. It bounces into the ground, and an easy take for Kel Roos, and good work down this right hand side as well to create the opening, and a big chance.
Yeah,
big chance, huge.
Was good play by Shankland in the link up play with Humphreys. And Humphreys has squared the ball after receiving the pass from Shankland, squared it across the 6-yard box, and that's how close in it was. He was inside the 6-yard box.
Has scored 3 times for Hearts, hasn't scored this season, as the long ball gets played forward by Aberdeen up to the edge of the area. Keelan Zoglet gets the ball away. Ramadani heads it forward. And up to the halfway line come Hearts with a clearance. They'll play it out wide. Forrest will pick up down the side. It'll come to Shankland. Lovely little back heel for Forrest to try and chase. Scales comes across. Has to go down to the ground to make the sliding challenge and knock it out of play. Hearts having a good little spell here. Keelan Zoglet gets it off to Barry Mackay. Back to the German. Back on to Nielsen now. Nielsen sends the ball forward on that far side. On to Cochrane. This is to put that one out of his mind. Kingsley on the overlap, level of the penalty area, tries to fire it in, hits off Richardson, bounces out of play. Kingsley didn't have to move to catch it, throws the ball into Snodgrass. Snodgrass control under a little bit of pressure from Barron, back towards the halfway line. Cochrane down the side onto Kingsley. Cochrane wants the ball again, played to him outside the area. He's there, trying to get through Ramadani. He's through too, he's driving to the byline, cuts it back. Shankland, wrong side of the net. Brilliant play from Cochrane to make himself available. Came to Shankland 7 yards out on the angle and rippled the net on the wrong side for Hearts.
Yeah, great persistence by Cochrane, although you probably say the Aberdeen defenders should have done better. He managed to squirm his way between the two of them, ball across the face of the goal, and normally for me, for Shankland, that's a tap-in. So that's Aberdeen got away with 2 dreadful misses by Hearts in the last 5 minutes or so.
Pressure starting to build on Aberdeen as ball's played back by Scales to his goalkeeper. Up to the halfway line it goes. Majowski can't get there, but the ball is flicked wide. Couldn't see because of a pillar, but it breaks down to Duke. Duke 25 yards from goal. Hits it against Nielsen. Willie, I thought he had better options left and right there.
Yeah, but again, you know, he sees that ball nestling in the top corner, doesn't he? And he's prepared to take it on. He did have a couple of options, although Hearts were, certainly getting players back. I've no problem with a striker, taking that on. His only issue is that he had a white jersey in front of him, and they bluttered it against the white jersey instead of, trying to maybe even just take a little touch to the side and then have the strike.
I would agree with you if you'd done what you said, which is clear the path, move the ball to the side so he can get a sighted goal, because that was always just going to hit off the defender.
Hearts have won a throw. They come forward. Mackay centre circle. Keelan Zoglet out onto this near side, picked up by Forrest. Forrest is going to run at Mackenzie. He then checks that run. He's outside the area. He's going towards the corner flag. Mackenzie sticks to him, and Forrest realising he wasn't going to get past him, so he places the cross knowing it would hit the defender and come out of the field of play for a throw into Hearts. A couple of yards from the corner flag on this near side. Aberdeen and Hearts 0-0 earlier on today. Motherwell 1, Rangers 2. All the action coming from Fir Park. This is our second commentary match of the day here on BBC Radio Scotland. Coming short is Shankland. Forrest standing holding the ball. Keelan Zoglet back onto Forrest. Little triangle into Shankland. Outside the area, Shankland. Keelan Zoglet was calling for it. Gets the ball onto his left foot. Crosses it in. Stewart heads it high in there. Shankland is there first. Lovely little touch. There was a shout for handball. Humphreys tried to get there. Aberdeen clear. Hits off Mackay. Clear at the second attempt. Stewart. Civic's going to give that away to Majowski. And Majowski got the touch. Tried to play it through, but Craig Gordon had to race from his line to come out for that one. Stewart then wins the header. Pretty open at the moment. Snodgrass heads the ball out wide inside his own half. Nielsen very calmly plays the ball forward. Forrest with a head flick. Scales come in. He sends it long. Nielsen's going to be under pressure from Majowski. Majowski is offside. Hearts will be grateful for that whistle to go and get the chance to play the ball away. Hectic stuff, Willie Miller.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good game. I think it's not been silky, but there's been some good football played. It's been competitive. It's been, high tempo. We've had the best chances followed to the visitors, I would suggest. We've had the controversy, perhaps a penalty when Duke went down. You know, I think you'd have to see that. We're a little bit too far away to call it for sure. You know, and interesting tactics as well.
Shankland, as the ball comes long, Scales a little kick out. Humphreys still going, hits the shot, came off the backside of McCrory. The second shot comes in. Snodgrass working his way forward, and the shot coming in, and it's well saved by Roos. Humphreys, though, is causing one or two issues.
It's strength mainly, isn't it?
Strength, yeah.
Yeah, he's holding the ball up exceptionally well, and he's getting runners. He's getting choices actually where to pass the ball to, and pretty much he's made every correct decision so far. We go back to Majowski's attempt to play the ball from the halfway line, because Hearts were caught short there, weren't they, Willie?
Yeah.
And if he had just had a little bit more composure on the way to the pass, then it would have been a brilliant chance for Aberdeen, 1-on-1 with the keeper.
Clarkson into Mackenzie, sliding across was Nielsen, puts the ball out of play. Thought he'd knocked it off the Aberdeen man. No, says the assistant referee and the referee. It's a throw to Aberdeen, level with the Hearts penalty area. Aberdeen going from right to left as we watch them midway inside the Aberdeen half, the back of the main stand here at Pittodrie. As the ball gets thrown in, Nielsen was strong, too strong for the referee, played through Clarkson, holding on to him as well. So apart from those two things, he was fine. It's a free kick to Aberdeen, and the opportunity to swing the ball in. 10 minutes to half time. It's a real dangerous position here. Majowski, Ramadani is there, McCrory's at the back. Stewart's got the capabilities, scoring the last home game against Kilmarnock. All sorts of danger.
Barron's in there as well, I think.
Yeah, he's now come across to help with the free kick, Barron. And Clarkson and Barron standing shoulder to shoulder. Craig Gordon stands on his line. Hearts trying to maintain a line, probably about 8 yards from goal. This is going to be right-footed, swung right in on top of Craig Gordon. The referee blows his whistle. Clarkson comes in, plays it. It's dropped down, could be a chance for Aberdeen. Hearts managed to get the ball away, almost fell to McCrory inside the area. Comes back out wide to Leighton Clarkson, sends it down the side to Duke. Duke under pressure. Hearts trying to hold him up. Kieran Murdogley's, in fact, Shankland, who's come out there. Duke does well. Then a ball back in. Clarkson jabs it across the area. Stewart was sliding in, trying to scissor the ball into the net. Couldn't do so. Hearts managed to clear. Pressure now coming from Aberdeen. And that should be a yellow card. Snodgrass all over Barron. And the referee goes to his pocket. Don't think he's got any complaints. Barron was going through. He certainly had another 3 or 4 yards of space to take it forward. Yellow card, Robert Snodgrass.
I knew exactly what he was doing there, didn't he? Yeah, and he's sacrificed. He knew he was going to get booked.
Yeah.
But I mean, Barron was away from him. He's approaching the penalty box, so experienced player.
The only thing that was missing was a referee pointing to all the different places on the field of play that Snodgrass has brought Barron down.
Don Robertson will get pulled up for that by the referee supervisor. So free kick, 30 yards from goal. That's dealt with the last one. This one just to the right hand side of the area.
They just dealt with it, didn't they? The ball bounced about in the penalty area for, well, I'm sure it was too long to be comfortable for Robbie Nielsen.
Clarkson and Barrett. Clarkson plays the ball across, and it takes a bounce and goes out of play. I'm not sure if McCrory was supposed to be in at the far post a little bit quicker than he was, but Hearts will be delighted. That danger has been dealt with. Aberdeen 0, Hearts 0.
Yeah, I think Clarkson was expecting somebody to be in that back area.
Certainly looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah, his reaction was one that the ball went where it was supposed to go.
0-0 so far. There's back-to-back 0-0 meetings in September and December 2017. There's been goals in the last 11 in the Scottish Premiership, the last 12, all competitions, and it's Hearts through Toby Civic who drive forward. Short on to Alan Forrest. Forrest lays the ball back to Civic. Kieran Murdogley told Forrest he wanted him to go in advance. Forrest came short, so the German plays the ball back to Civic, inside to the Hearts captain Stephen Kingsley. Scottish internationalist, couple of caps to his name. As the ball gets played to the side by Civic. Civic sends it long. Scales comes across, wins the header. Hearts will chase to see if that goes out of play. That came off Kieran Murdogley, and it's an Aberdeen throw. Of course, players, even when they know they've kicked the ball out themselves, will ask for the decision.
Well, they'll be hoping the referee makes a mistake, basically, and if you claim for it, sometimes you get it.
Well, sometimes there's no shame in players, though. I mean, that was, well, as you say, the referee might make a mistake. Scales plays that forward. Majowski, Sibic tries to get it back. Kingsley might have to take a touch at the edge of the area. On to Craig Gordon. Gordon plays it away up towards the halfway line. Plenty of tempo to the game. We just don't have any goals. Hearts have had a couple of great chances. Aberdeen with a penalty claim. Here's Ross McCrory. Also Majowski has been lively. McCrory up to the edge of the area. Richardson tries to get there. He's offside. It couldn't matter. McCrory rumbling his way forward. Looked to try and get the cross in via Richardson. It wasn't to be. It remains 0-0. 6 minutes to the interval. There'll be some additional time. For just joining us, Andy Halliday went off injured. Hearts had to rejig the back four. Craig Gordon is having a little yell at something before he comes back and gets ready to play it forward.
It's on for McCrory to do that more often. More difficult down the left-hand side, you know, because Forrest is playing out here in the touchline, but Hearts don't have a wide player. It's a full-back that's got to get up, and Aberdeen obviously have McCrory and Richardson down that side. So I think if he takes a little bit more responsibility, it's on for him to drive forward.
Shanklin wide to Snodgrass. Snodgrass, Humphreys moving into the area, trying to drive for the byline, overhits it, runs into the advertising boards. Billy Roos comes across and he'll just pick up the ball. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending there, Paul, from Ross McCrory, wasn't it? He's kept him on the outside. McCrory's quick as well, so Humphreys just overhit the ball, but I think McCrory had the situation in hand.
Yeah, I would say so. I thought Humphreys made the wrong decision to try to take him in the outside. I thought it was on to come inside.
Yeah, and normally he would. He does like to come in on that right foot.
Yeah. On that occasion, the defender getting the better of the Hearts striker. Roos plays the ball forward, deep inside the Hearts half. Sibic tries to win the header, does so up to the halfway line. Scales bends down to get the header away. Forrest then sends it high up and into the air. Caught well by Jim Goodwin. And ball is thrown in by Aberdeen. Mackenzie back on to Stewart. Stewart takes a touch, lays the ball back to his goalkeeper. Brings the ball forward. Sometimes I don't get shades right. I think it's a pale green the goalkeeper's wearing as the ball gets played forward. Coming down, Duke gets caught there by Alan Forrest, goes down. Free kick, says the referee. Duke's been knocked about once or twice in this game.
You know, there's one of those situations. If that's a defender, he's getting booked. I think it's because it's Forrest, and it doesn't very often kick anybody, does he, Forrest? So I think he's got away with that, because I thought that was a bad tackle.
Duke's been very lively moving down the left-hand side. And the referee is going to just mark where the Hearts players have to gather the wall. I say wall, it's one player at the moment. And again, the opportunity to sling the ball in for Aberdeen. Everybody bunched to that right-hand side, right on the 18-yard line. Clarkson's going to move away this time. And Barron watches, places the ball, walks back again, looking for movement. Barron strikes the ball in. Chance for Stewart. Craig Gordon with a save. Offside. Wouldn't have counted. Beautiful delivery in. Good run from Stewart. He scored last time out against Killie here. Craig Gordon made the save, but the flag goes up.
Well, I question a good run by Stewart, because his job is to stay onside. It was a beautifully flighted ball in by Barron, and Stewart should have made sure he was onside.
He should have made sure that the header was in the back of the net as well. It was straight at Craig Gordon.
Craig Gordon getting down, making the save. Flag going up on that far side. Another good ball in though by Conor Bartlett. Is there to be a goal before half-time? Hearts coming forward now. Just check inside by Kingsley. On to Snodgrass. Here's Mackay drifting infield now, drifting to the left-hand side. That plays a beautiful ball through. Chance offside. Cochrane went too early. And he tried to pull the ball back, but the flag was up on this near side. Near things towards the end of the half.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen much of Mackay, have we, in this half? He's had a good season up to this point, but that's the type of thing that he's really good at, just that disguised pass in behind for the runners coming from the outside in. And that's, again, Cochrane's job's to try and time the run perfectly so that he stays onside, but just strayed forward a little bit too early.
So Roos pushes his teammates forward, launches it long. One half of the pitch in sunshine, the other in shade, and Sibic withdraws his head, allows the ball to bounce through onto Craig Gordon, who bowls it onto Lewis Nielsen. Didn't start the game, came off the bench, and Andy Halliday injured. The ball gets flicked inside, no way through for Shanklin. It was good play by Scales onto Duke. Kieran McZoglu tried to take him out. Duke continues down that left hand side, and the referee is going to bring it back. And he certainly should have a word with the chairman.
He's getting a booking, I think.
He should do. Yep, yellow card. It was a yellow card all day long. And you wondered for a second as the referee continued to played the advantage, wasn't coming. It's good refereeing by Don Robertson.
Well, you've seen Aberdeen a lot more than me. How's Duke done this season? He looks a threat, doesn't he?
He's pacey. He's very pacey. He hasn't played regularly. He's come into the team of late. He was brought as a striker and he's playing as a striker this afternoon, but he's got enough pace, I think, to play in a wide area too. He scored a magnificent goal up at Ross County, the overhead kick, if you saw it. But
Barron into the middle, sends the ball away, breaks back to Ramadani, it clips off a Hearts heel, and the Hearts have to clear the ball. Yeah, just the second start of the season for Duke. The only start he had was against Hibs, and he scored
early as well.
Yeah, it was early. And then, it's one time Aberdeen haven't been able to hold a lead as the ball gets played forward up to the edge of the area. And Hearts bowl the ball out wide onto Cochrane. Cochrane sends it long, looking for Shanklin. Stewart with a header will drop for Humphreys. Humphreys takes the touch, playing more on the left side at the moment. Humphreys tries to work the 1-2 with Snodgrass. Has the ball outside the box, up against Ramadani. Ramadani trying to close him down. Pull back onto Cochrane. Cochrane with the ball into the middle. Shanklin, that hits the head of Shanklin and goes all the way out. It might actually bounce out for just a throw. And the referee decided that's not a Hearts throw. And it is. I think he's corrected himself to give it Aberdeen throw.
I wondered what was going on.
No, we were right
my glasses.
You can clean your glasses, the referee's not allowed.
It's just come over Stewart's head, isn't it? And Shanklin, he's not expecting it whatsoever that Stewart's going to miss that header, and he does, and it comes off his forehead and goes out for the throw in. Then the referee points the wrong way.
Thankfully he changed his mind as Forrest comes forward, putting pressure on McKenzie. 3 minutes to be added. We've played almost one of those 3. As Forrest comes on to this near side. Entertainment, yes. Goals at the moment, no. Kiermont Zoglu makes a run to that right hand side, plays it in, back onto Forrest. Forrest onto Snodgrass. Snodgrass under pressure immediately. Ramadani plays the ball back. Sibic has to go back inside his own half. He plays a dreadfully short ball to Majowski. Majowski will gather, looking for support. Plays it in the middle. Duke has made a brilliant run. Duke keeps on his feet. Chance, great save from Craig Gordon. Lewis Nielsen was closing down Duke. That certainly had an influence on the shot, but Duke got the shot away. Craig Gordon came out, ball bounces off him, goes behind. What a mistake by Sibic.
Well, Sibic went straight to Craig Gordon to thank him there, because he saved his skin there, because that was a dreadful pass, wasn't it? And Duke managed to get in. I actually thought he was going to score.
He probably should have scored, but magnificent save, isn't it?
Brilliant save.
Craig Gordon comes out. Because Duke does quite well, actually. He gives it a bit of air. He tries to take it over Craig Gordon, but he just stretches out and blocks it.
Clarkson in, McCrory with a header. It's gone behind,
which we shouldn't be surprised at.
No,
it's been a very even match.
Yeah.
Hearts probably do lead in terms of chances, but Aberdeen have had a lot of pressure. They've had control of the game at times, and I was fortunate enough to see the Hearts Kilmarnock game last week. And this is maybe not quite as good at this moment, but certainly it's a very, very good match.
So Aberdeen, 25 goals in 19 Scottish Premiership games last season. This season they've scored 15 in just 4. So they've been finding the net with great regularity, but they've been unable to get their way past Craig Gordon. Duke, I thought he was going to score as well. Just one of those as Hearts now lay the ball forward. It's through onto Shanklin. Shanklin might get the shot away. Oh, the goalkeeper, a wonderful touch to get her over the top. I thought Shanklin had got that in. Roos seemed to be so far out of his goal. Threw an arm up, touched the ball up and over. Real drama here at Pittodrie.
Well, that was a brilliant save as well, because Shanklin had weighted that ball absolutely perfectly. It was going over the top of Roos's head and nestling in the net. How he got his fingertips to it, I'll never know, because it was a great attempt by Shanklin.
Yeah, George Honor was going to nestle in the back of the net, wasn't it?
Terrific save. Hearts now with the corner, their first of the match. Snodgrass into Mackay. Mackay's pulled that behind everybody, so Shanklin has to stick out his boot. Gives away a free kick, but the referee decides enough is enough. What a 45 minutes it's been in the Cinch Scottish Premiership at Pittodrie. Aberdeen against Hearts, and the only mystery so far is how the score sheet remains goalless. Half time here, Aberdeen 0, Hearts 0.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
this is Sport Sound.
Where Scottish football lives.
What a goal!
I already know we have plenty of Hibs fans in the building, so I'm going to...
It's the Hearts fans I'm worried about. Sacked in the Morning is back with brand new episodes.
Join Craig Levine and me, Amy Irons, for the podcast that guides you through the cutthroat world of football management.
We have some very special guests. Jimmy Nicholl, David Robertson and Dick Campbell.
My two sons got sent off today. I fined the two of them. She says you never. You can't fine Ross. He's a student.
Former referee Mark Clattenburg.
All the Scottish managers had this fiery side.
Sacked in the Morning. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
Looking forward to catching up on that in the SWPL 1 this afternoon. Glasgow women beat, Celtic beat Glasgow women 7-0. Partick Thistle 1-0 winners against Dundee United. Half time it was Hearts women 2, Aberdeen women 0. In the English Premier League, almost at the end, Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 2. Mason Mounts got the first part, he got the second as well, so it's going to be a victory there for Chelsea. Leeds United 0, Arsenal 1. That game, remember, delayed for a good half hour or so because they lost communication with the VAR, but Arsenal through Bakary Saka's goal are in front. They are still Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0, Southampton 1, West Ham United 1. All those games other than the Leeds Arsenal into the closing stages of the matches. Also a bizarre story from down south, down in the English Championship. Hull against Birmingham was delayed because they somehow discovered that the goals were too big and they had to remove the goal frames from their positions on the pitch, got a saw out, and they've actually sawn a couple of inches off the goal frame. This is true, there is footage of them actually doing it. How they discovered that the goals were 2 inches too big, I've got no idea.
And have they been 2 inches too big all season?
Well, those ones, of course, that you slot down into the holes in the ground. So
right, okay.
They must have been. I saw someone saying that it had happened to Wigan last week as well, where they had to do something similar. But it's just bizarre, utterly bizarre. Anyway, that game. So you've had a game delayed because the goals are too big, and you've had a game delayed because VAR wasn't operational at that game at Elland Road. Anyway, in the Scottish Premiership earlier, of course, Motherwell 1, Rangers 2. Rangers get to within 2 points of Celtic at the top of the table. It is goalless here. Craig Levine, it shouldn't be goalless here because although Aberdeen certainly have had chances, the one glaring opportunity fell at the feet of Alex Cochrane, didn't it?
Yes, it certainly did. I mean, the Hearts have had 3 good chances. That one is beyond good. I mean, it is perhaps the easiest chance I've ever seen.
You would think
maybe in the top 5.
Yeah, you would think it would be unmissable.
Yes.
You could not contemplate a professional footballer not scoring from that position.
I was nearly going to say I would have scored that, but I'm not quite sure. But honestly, it was a glaring miss, and I mean, you could tell by his reaction, he was devastated that he'd just bundled the ball into the goalkeeper. And from Robbie's point of view, he'll be sick now, looking at those chances that they've had. And even at the end there, the one with Shanklin, where he's gone, it was a great pass over the top. He's managed to get in behind it, sat up nicely for him. He's lobbed the goalkeeper. He thinks it's in. I'm sure he did. And how Roos got to that, I don't know. But just before that, Craig Gordon had made an absolutely wonderful save as well. So it's been a good game, Wally.
No, it has. Yeah, I mean it's pretty even. I would say. I think Hearts have marginally, and we were speaking before the game about the midfield. I think they've bossed the midfield.
They have.
Craig, they've got Barry Mackay in there helping out, sitting on top of Ramadani. because I thought he would have played wide in the left-hand side, but he's playing more central. And although he hasn't been in the game that much, I think he's been on top of Ramadani, so he hasn't had much time in the ball at all.
Aberdeen,
they haven't. And the youngsters have done okay at times in there, but I think Hearts have been better in the midfield area, that crucial area. And of course, when you play with the three at the back and the wing backs, the Hearts two full backs are going to get on the ball all the time, and they are on the ball all the time. They're building it up well from the back, I think.
They are, and Mackay's clever because he pops up and you think he's playing a 10 and he pops up in the wide area in off the line, and then he'll pop up in the 10 and then he'll be on the other side. So he has it almost like a free rein to just try and find the space, and he's so good at receiving the ball in a half turn. And he had one piece of play where he fed, I think it might have been Humphreys, was it he put Humphreys through? Or it was Cochrane, maybe, I can't remember, but he played one significant pass.
It was Cochrane, and actually he was apparently onside.
Was he?
He was flagged off, but Brian, I know, had been having a quick look. He made a mess of the pass, but it was wrong that he was flagged offside. Willie, talk to me about, Duke is the nickname Louis Lopez or Luis Lopez, because I've got to say, for a large chunk of this game, he's been doing my head in. I didn't see the penalty incident because I'm behind that pillar. You're just slightly further along. You guys saw it. I didn't. But I have to say, the one thing that immediately crossed my mind as to why he perhaps didn't get it was he'd spent the previous 12 and a half minutes throwing himself to the ground every time a player was within 2 yards of him.
Yeah, and I think that does go against you. If you're that easy to go down, and you go down spectacularly, and you're going down with not an awful lot of contact, and then the crucial moment when you're in the box, and he's in a great area in the box as well, and he's done well. He's done well on a number of occasions, though, Richard. I understand what you're saying, but he's a threat. He's got pace. He maybe should have scored against Craig Gordon when he's put right through, but I thought Craig Gordon did magnificently well to stay big, because for me, Duke did the right thing. Try to get a little bit of air in it, try to get it over the goalkeeper, but Craig Gordon, we've seen him do it on so many occasions, just brilliant at it. Understanding where the danger is, but I think Duke going down in the box, for me it looked as though we're too far away to conclusively say that it was a definite penalty, but at the same time he did go down, and there was white jerseys close to him. He was trying to wriggle and get a little bit of space, but the referee was in a good position, didn't give it, but he's a threat, Richard. He's a threat. He's got good pace, Duke,
and strangely, because having criticised him for going down far too easily on countless occasions, there was an incident towards the end of the first half there where Keogh tried to half him, and how he stayed up, I'll never quite understand. So, I mean, there's a bit of a strange, bizarre mix, I suppose, going on there in terms of him. But Craig, you were asking Willie about him. He's clearly caught your eye.
Well, I think of the two strikers, he's been the better of the two for Aberdeen. Miovski's not really been involved so much in the match, and the running, the running the channels as such, like it's been Duke that's been doing that as well. That was what caught my eye, the fact that he was running the channels and just trying to stretch the Hearts defence. And also, I thought, like Willie, I thought it was a brilliant attempt for his save, for the one that Craig Gordon saved, because I don't think there's many goalkeepers would even near that. I mean, Craig Gordon, it must be 5 or 6 feet up into the net, and he's managed to go down and stay and keep his hand up at the same time, and I don't know how he's managed to do that, but I thought it was a decent finish, and Craig Gordon was the only stumbling block really. But I mean, I think it's been a brilliant game, I really do. I think that there's a threat from both teams, and Hearts have had a couple of occasions where the balls have been bouncing about in the 6-yard box, 6-yard box on one occasion where it could have fallen at the feet of an Aberdeen player very easily. So the game's finely balanced. Hearts will think they've had the better chances, and I would say they have, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. We've got 45 minutes to come. Hopefully it'll be just as good, and we can see some goals.
I think sorry, Richard, I think considering, just a final point, the amount of players at Hearts have got out injured in that defensive department, they've done extremely well, I think, to shore it up with moving players about, and obviously having to make the change so early in the game as well.
I think it's helped.
Yeah.
I do think it's helped.
Yeah, I mean, Civic certainly did give the ball away, but actually, you think he's in a more familiar position. Stephen Kingsley can clearly play centre back. Cochrane's in a more familiar position, and Lewis Nielsen actually has caught the eye this season.
Oh, he's been really good. He's been really good, and I mean, he hasn't had a lot of game time, but any time that I've seen him play, he's a good size. He's got decent pace. His use of the ball's fantastic. It's excellent. I think he's got a real future, the young boy. And I would argue that this defence that they've got now is better than the one they started the game with.
Robbie will just be pleased, won't he, Craig, that they've got half-time, that it's a goalless scoreline against him, given there's been a 3, 2 4s and a 5 that they've conceded in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think his primary concern will be the fact that they've missed really good chances. That'll be... I mean, I don't think he'll be critical of the players because of that, but you know, privately, that'll be the thing that's irking him most, because these chances have been gilt-edged, to say the least. So I think he's got a lot to talk to his team about in a positive sense. I mean, the chances have created, the way they've played, the way they've defended. They've been reasonably good defensively, considering all the problems that they've had. So yeah, I mean, I think he'll be pleased with the performance. He'll be disappointed with the fact that they're not in front.
Well, the two sets of substitutes are out, going through their paces. I say their paces. They're just basically, both sets are just strolling around. I don't think they've any call in any of them, will it, at half-time, do you? You see the same 11 coming back out for the two sides?
I would think so, Richard. I think Jim Goodwin would be a little bit disappointed with his midfield. I would have thought that he would have hoped to have bossed that a little bit better. You know, Ramadani hasn't had much input into the game. The other two youngsters have been good at times, but not good enough. So I think he'll be a little bit disappointed with that. But I don't think you're going to make changes at this stage. I don't see there's any real reason to make changes. I think it's a relatively even game. As the game wears on, I'm sure it'll be in both managers' minds, what they're going to do as far as changes are concerned. But I don't think there's any necessity for it at half-time.
Remember highlights of this one, you'll see that penalty claim and that incredible miss by Alex Cochrane, plus what is also a number of other talking points and highlights from what has been a very entertaining opening 45 minutes. You see this on Sports Scene tonight, along with that 2-1 win for Rangers against Motherwell that has kept them within 2 points of Celtic at the top of the table, 10 games into the campaign. Sports Scene tonight. It's on the BBC Scotland channel, of course. Jonathan Sutherland and guests, 7:15. The live action in the week ahead: Tuesday for Kilmarnock against Dundee United, Wednesday for Motherwell Celtic, Aberdeen Partick Thistle and Rangers against Dundee. It is the quarter-final midweek in the Premier Sports Cup. Friday night, live Scottish Cup action on the telly. Again, BBC Scotland channels, Scottish Cup live, Cumnock against Dumbarton. And on the radio, we'll have live commentary of Hibernian against St Johnstone. VAR being in use for the first time in the Scottish Premiership. In terms of the women's game, the highlights tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, again on the BBC Scotland channel. We await the return of the teams here at Pittodrie. It is goalless. It has been very entertaining. As Craig said, not quite. I don't think it's entertaining as it had been at Rugby Park the previous week or a week ago. But what a second half we were treated to then. I wonder if the goals will start to flow in this second 45 minutes. Certainly Hearts have been forced into that one change with Lewis Nielsen coming on to replace the stricken Andy Halliday. Beyond that, certainly Aberdeen have got options on the bench in terms of the attacking side of the game. The likes of Morrison, Bisawan and Watkins, Matty Kennedy, and I mentioned young Alfie Babbage, who's got a phenomenal record in recent weeks in the youth side. Hearts, well, it's a sign of their injury issues that they don't have an awful lot in terms of attacking, well, certainly experienced attacking threat to bring on off the bench. So I guess Robbie Nielsen will be looking to Humphreys and Shankland. Got to say, we all know about Shankland. Humphreys, he's been a bit of a slow burn, I think, at Hearts, Craig. The last few matches he's certainly shown up, hasn't he? He's
getting better. I mean, I don't know what his fitness situation was, whether he'd been playing regularly before he arrived at Hearts. But I certainly, over the last 2 or 3 matches that I've watched him, I think he's getting better, and I think it's probably just down to the fact that he's starting to understand his teammates, and also the fact that he's feeling fitter within himself, and his confidence must be high. He's got a couple of goals as well.
Yeah, I mean, he looks a handful. You know, he looks very strong and confident. You know, the strange thing is that he was taking on Liam Scales, you know, down the right-hand side, and then he decided to go to the other side of the park. And I thought that he was doing well against Scales. And I think I think McCrory will handle him much better from a physical point of view than Scales was handling him. And I wasn't sure why that change actually happened.
Maybe it came from the bench. I don't know. But I agree with you. I think that he was causing Scales problems. I don't think McCrory or Stewart would be overly worried about playing against them. They're both quick, as obviously as Humphreys, but certainly for them, Scales is more of a Scales is more of a wing back. Sorry, I was looking at Colin here, wondering what was going on.
I will probably just go to the second half, shall we?
Yeah, okay.
Just about to kick off, Paul Mitchell.
Thanks, Richard. We are underway at the start of the second half. Aberdeen all in red, coming from left to right. Lovely little ball through to Richardson, edge of the area, looks up, sees where his options are. Low ball in, hits Sibbick here. Better to try and lift that to the back. As Ramadani comes forward, tries to win it, but Mackay then plays her way up for Humphreys at the other end. Stewart should get there. Oh, he's missing it. Humphreys has got it through on the goalkeeper, taking it past him. Then the goalkeeper makes a wonderful stop. Got the ball beautifully. Humphreys tried to jink the goalkeeper to cut inside to roll it in, and Roos got a hand to it. Wonderful action at the start of the second half. The ball is not yet out. It's now clipped forward by Aberdeen up to the halfway line. Duke goes flying up against Nielsen. There is a slight inability to keep his feet there. Aberdeen get it going. It's taken from the wrong place. Willie Miller, what a start.
I mean, initially it's a brilliant pass from Conor Barron down to Richardson, who doesn't make the most of it, and then it's transferred, you know, to the opposite end of the park, and Scales is caught out. Humphreys is in behind him. He's taken on Roos, and it's just wonderful goalkeeping from the Aberdeen goalkeeper. Keeps his eye on the ball. You know, he doesn't take the dummy as Humphreys, you know, dips his shoulder and tries to cut inside, keeps his eye on the ball, throws his arm out, his hand out, and gets it as Humphreys goes over the top of him.
Barron plays the ball into the middle. It's picked up by Duke. Clarkson goes in there, just run through past Duke. Clarkson was going in there. Duke then too strong for Hearts on that far side, crosses the ball in. Sibbick gives the ball away. Mackay then loses out to Ramadani on that left-hand side. It's as if this game's been played in fast forward at the moment.
Oh, dearie me, there's been so much happening in this first 5 minutes of the game. Both teams have come out with real intent again to go and attack and to try and score goals and try and win the game. So I think we're in for a real treat.
Thrown by Hearts up to Humphreys. Scales in behind him. Scales does enough to win the ball, plays it through. In for Majowski. Majowski through to Duke. Opportunities wide. He drives the shot. Craig Gordon the save. Managed to get his hand out, and then at second attempt pull it into his body. Chance after chance after chance. We played just 2 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, and you know, it was a good save from Craig Gordon. Not spectacular, but it was a good save. And down the other end, you know, it was a brilliant save by Roos, wasn't it? Because I actually thought Humphreys had done enough to fool him and get inside him, but then his hand came out from nowhere and managed just to smother the ball and pull it back towards himself. It was great goalkeeping.
Top class from the Dutchman, 30-year-old former Derby goalkeeper. Ever present this season, a steadying presence for Aberdeen. 6 clean sheets so far. As Majowski lays the ball back onto Barron. Barron out wide, works with Richardson and Clarkson, but Snodgrass gets in there for Hearts. Forward on to Shanklin. Ball gets knocked out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Hearts. Hearts with the opportunity to come forward. Aberdeen have beaten the last 8 Scottish Premiership against Hearts of Pittodrie. They've won the last 5. Prior to that, they've won 4 of the previous 18. Hearts has a pretty good record, but Hearts last win at Pittodrie May 2016. A 1-0 victory. As the ball gets played down the side. Shanklin, lovely touch over the head with McCrory inside onto Humphreys. Humphreys gets through Ramadani. Clarkson comes back to help him out. Inside onto Scales it goes, standing in the middle of the field inside his own half, plays it forward up to Richardson on the halfway line. He sends it through, but Kingsley will pick up for Hearts under pressure from Majowski, who'll play it to Alan Forrest on that far side. Alan Forrest, the 12th start for Hearts, looking to try and go on the side of Mackenzie. Mackenzie does enough to get his body back in and win the ball pushes it back onto Scales, and Scales to his goalkeeper Lawrence Shanklin will close down Kelly Roos, so the ball will come up towards the halfway line. Long clearance from the goalkeeper, breaks the way of Mackay. Mackay gets it back to Snodgrass. Snodgrass tried to lay it out wide, the ball goes out of play. It's a throw in to Aberdeen. We run you through the teams. Kelly Roos in goal for Aberdeen. The back three: McCrory, Stewart and Scales. It's Richardson and McKenzie, the wing backs. Ramadani and Barron in the midfield two, with Clarkson and Duke either side of Bojan Majowski. That's the home side. Hearts have been forced into one change. It came early. Andy Halliday off, so it meant everybody shuffled along once. It's a back four now in front of Craig Gordon of Nielsen, Civic, Kingsley and Cochrane. Keir Mutzoglu and Snodgrass together with Forrest and Mackay. Well, the wingers Humphreys and Shanklin, the players through. Now the opportunity for Majowski to take on Civic down that left-hand side. Civic was strong, gets the ball away up towards the halfway line again. Now the sliding tackle comes in, but Aberdeen get away on this near side. Crowley forward onto Richardson. Richardson away from Cochrane, doesn't get away though from Snodgrass. Snodgrass plays the ball back to Kingsley. Kingsley launches it long. Stewart, a little preemptive touch on Shanklin, allows the ball to run past him. Stewart goes and gathers and plays the ball inside onto Ramadani. Didn't play against Peterhead, but ever present since, as the ball comes back onto Stewart. Stewart gathers, trying to get away from Shanklin, does so easily. Ball onto the near side, onto McCrory. McCrory advancing. Barron checks so he could go into defensive position if he had to. And as the ball comes through from McCrory, runs all the way through the penalty area, goes behind. It's a goal kick to Hearts, and here are the thoughts of Willie Miller.
Well, it's calmed down a little bit in the last 30 seconds, I would say, but it's been a furious beginning to the second half, isn't it, with chances being created at both ends. So there's plenty of intent. I think both managers and both teams out there can be well pleased with how they're going about their job this afternoon, and certainly it's keeping everybody on the edge of their seats, wondering how this is going to just pan out, who's going to get the breakthrough, if there is going to be a breakthrough. It's so evenly matched, but there's been so many chances created that you would think that a goal or goals will come.
Yeah, I just hope it's not a mistake. You know, I think the game deserves better than somebody making a howler.
Roos plays the ball forward on towards Cochrane, now in at left full-back. Andy Halliday injured in the first half. Andy Halliday's going to get the version. Pittodrie was sent off the last time he played here and had to be taken off here this afternoon. And that's Aberdeen who get the throw. Barron inside his own half is McCrory. McCrory turns, spins, plays up towards the halfway line. Keir Mutzoglu will gather out onto Barry Mackay. Mackay's two Aberdeen players round him, leaves it out to Barron. Barron plays it forward. Kingsley chases across, plays the ball back to the man all in blue, Craig Gordon. Sends it up towards the halfway line. Stewart wins the header, gets it down onto Barron, lays the ball back onto McCrory. McCrory inside the Hearts half, a little drop ball short. Majowski comes short, plays a lovely curling effort looking for Clarkson, but Hearts are there through Nielsen. And they get the ball up to the halfway line. Ball goes past Shanklin, picked up by Stewart again. Ramadani out wide. Leighton Clarkson drops his shoulder, tries to attack, pulls the ball into the middle. Conor Barron, 30 yards from goal, tries the shot and pops it into the crowd behind the goal. Points for ambition, execution less so, and it remains Aberdeen 0, Hearts 0.
Yeah, had a bit of space, Conor Barron. I don't know if his first thought was to shoot, but certainly he took a big touch, and then I think he just made his mind up that he's going to have a shot at goal. But I mean, it was as high as it was misguided.
Not a great effort, was it, from the youngster in midfield. You know, I think if you're going to take that on, you've got to try and at least hit the target with it, but he's nowhere near hitting it between the sticks.
Aberdeen with an error. Cochrane will play it forward. Shanklin runs through the middle, trying to get the other side of Stewart. Stewart does well, gets his body in the way, takes it outside the box. Shanklin tries to get back in front of him, can't do so. Stewart was too strong, plays it up to the halfway line where Barron is there. He's running himself into a corner. He's pulled Snodgrass back. It's a yellow card and a free kick. Pull on the jersey was clear and obvious. Snodgrass fell awkwardly, and the referee wanders across.
He's getting away with it.
I'm surprised at that, because when you see the jersey of the opponent just being pulled out in front of the referee, usually that's enough, but he has. You're right, Willie. No yellow card on that occasion.
And it was, you know, there's no doubt about that. Conor Barron getting his own back on Snodgrass there. Little tug in the jersey. Definite free kick, definite booking.
That's precisely what Robbie Nielsen is saying to the fourth official, Ian Snedden. He's not happy at all down there, explaining what the issue was. Hearts though with the free kick. Snodgrass steps up, left footed, curls the ball in deep. Scales sends it down the middle. Cochrane goes in, bounces the ball into the ground, sends the shot behind, well wide in the end, and it remains Aberdeen 0, Hearts 0.
He quite likes hitting the ball into the ground, Cochrane, does he?
That attempt was a little bit further out than this.
A little bit further out, yeah. Listen,
there's been some good defending, Willie.
Yep.
I was just going to say that. I thought Stewart defended that situation excellently.
Aberdeen and Hearts 0-0. Both teams playing in Hearts games have scored in the last two. Only one side had scored in the previous 7. Here today we await the breakthroughs. Barron tries to slide it through to Richardson at the edge of the area. Kieran Mazzoglu will gather onto Snodgrass, back to Cochrane, back to Snodgrass once more. Hearts just outside their own area, left hand side, played it forward, takes a deflection, it's going to be clipped forward by McCrory. Snodgrass with a header, back towards McCrory. McCrory with a header, Majowski tried to get it with his boot, got it with his head in the end, plays it into Sibic, and Sibic will send it long, looking for Shanklin. Shanklin up against Scales. Scales gets there, outside the box, plays the ball back to his goalkeeper, under pressure immediately. Forward it goes onto Ramadani and out wide onto Scales. Jim Goodwin hands above the head to applaud. The way his side defended that one. Scales plays it out wide onto that far side. Opportunity for Mackenzie to run forward. Out wide is Duke. Duke has it up against Nielsen. Back to Mackenzie. Mackenzie low ball in. Majowski tried to get in there with Kingsley. And Majowski's come through the back of Stephen Kingsley, who dumps the ground in pain. It is a free kick rather than the corner that Aberdeen were going to get. And Stephen Kingsley, every Hearts fan just takes a breath. Can't lose him.
No, and actually it was a great bit of defending. The ball came across and he was strong enough to get to the ball first, and he managed to get the first contact on it. In those situations, that's all you're looking for, isn't it? And the ball comes in, get there first.
Yeah, I think you've got to defend the near post. You know, when Aberdeen have done so well down the left-hand side, you know, with Mackenzie and Duke Lincoln to create the opportunity in the first place. The ball's driven towards the near post, and the defender then has got to make sure he gets in front of Majowski, and that's what Cochrane did.
Snodgrass plays the ball forward. Good control by Forrest outside the centre circle, inside his own half. Played out wide to Cochrane. Cochrane with a little ball forward, looking for Mackay. Mackay forced out of play by Aberdeen's number 16, Ramadani, the Albanian international player who is very much at home in the role prescribed to him by Jim Goodwin. Jim Goodwin and Robbie Nielsen both out in the technical area calling out instructions. 14,711 inside the ground as the ball gets played forward up to the edge of the area. Nielsen dealt with it, sends it past Snodgrass. Barron sends it round the corner. Here's McCrory. McCrory coming up to the edge of the area. The challenge comes in, he's still going in, gets the shot across, chance! Sliding wide, Majowski. Duke was on the outside of him. Majowski got the touch on the edge of the 6-yard box and sent it wide.
Yeah, brilliant play by Aberdeen was, and the ball by McCrory across the face of the goal was absolutely begging to be put in the back of the net, and Majowski's been in good form, Willie, and he's got a toe to it, and this angle was really good. He just sneaked past that far post, but he's got to score, surely. Absolutely,
you know, he's got to make better contact on it. I don't think it was that difficult in terms of having to stretch too much for it. It was begging for, you know, a reasonably solid touch, and that's all you need to do in that occasion. I thought McCrory was brilliant, and I said that at the first half. I think he can have a major part, you know, driving forward down this right-hand side. I thought he was a little bit fortunate because Snodgrass was getting back. He actually touched it in front, and it fell brilliantly for McCrory. Good cross into the box. Majowski sliding in, should have done better.
He scored his 6th straight home game. Bojan Majowski, North Macedonian. So far, 8 goals in 11. It's a good return. As Aberdeen pick up the ball, centre circle, gathered by Conor Barron, turns, plays it back to the skipper Stewart. Stewart plays it out wide onto McCrory, has to put a hand up to the face of the sun right in his eyes. As Aberdeen come forward through Barron, out to Richardson. Richardson tries to lay it back onto McCrory, closed down by Cochrane, back to the halfway line. Go Aberdeen. Ramadani back to Stewart, across the centre circle it goes. Clarkson tried to knock it forward to Majowski, but Hearts are there through Kingsley. Sibic plays it back onto Kingsley. Kingsley sliding through to Barron. Ramadani going in there. He's won the ball. 3 Hearts players round him. Now the ball pulled back to the edge of the centre circle. Barron, brilliant little ball onto Clarkson. Clarkson into the middle it goes. Turned away by Nielsen. Breaks back onto Barron. Back to Clarkson. 25 yards from goal. Ball slid down looking for Richardson. Cochran sends it out of play. Good pressure from Aberdeen. 58 minutes gone, 0-0, but it's Aberdeen on the offensive at the moment. The ball thrown into Majorski. Kingsley was strong though. Kingsley brings it away. There was nobody in advance that he was good position. Played it forward eventually to Shanklin. Robbed by Stewart. Anthony Stewart coming forward. Thinks about the shot. Comes off the heels of Sibic. The ball will bounce back to Stewart. He continued on that left hand side. Sibic forces him backwards. He needs some help. Gets it from Jack McKenzie. 22-year-old Aberdonian. Back inside. On to Stewart. Stewart plays it back. That's going to be too long for Jack McKenzie. And the ball runs out of play. It's going to be a goal kick, but we are being entertained here.
We are, and it's good. A good positive run from Stewart. You know, taking up the responsibility of the captain. Although the decision to get it onto his left foot and have a swipe at the ball was the wrong decision, I would suggest for him. He's just trying to keep possession.
The block saved his embarrassment.
But you know, I think when Aberdeen have got the 3 at the back against 2 strikers, and Humphreys is kind of a dropped out it. I think he's looking a little bit sluggish in my book. He's not having the impact that he did in the first half, that's for sure. And you know, you see McCrory driving forward there. You see Stewart driving forward there too. And I think if they're willing to do that, I think it's on to be done.
Humphreys started the season as a Wigan player. I think 15th in the championship at the moment, so they must have thought he was surplus to requirements as Ramadani tackles him just in the centre circle inside the Hearts half.
Is that not a booking?
Again, he just drags him back. I don't think there was a great threat coming forward. Certainly the Barron one should have been that one, perhaps. But again, put 2 arms around somebody's waist. You
pull him back.
Yeah. Certainly asking the referee to make a decision as the ball gets thrown in. As Hearts have won a throw on that far side, inside his own half. Toby Sibic from Ellsworth, former Wimbledon Barnsley player, a couple of times on loan for Hearts, making the deal permanent. Gets the ball forward. Snodgrass onto Mackay. Mackay away from Barron. Shanklin had gone one side, but it come to Cochran on the other. Oh, Shanklin! Right in the centre of the goals, 6 yards out, sends the ball wide. He opened his foot up and the ball caught it and went well wide. What a miss, Lawrence Shanklin.
God, I don't know what to say. Honestly, that's
incredible,
that
isn't
is
it?
a tap-in for Lawrence Shanklin. I mean, I don't know what we're witnessing today, Willie. That's about half a dozen really good opportunities to score, and we're still sitting at 0-0.
Yeah, and that's a big one for, you've got Majowski who's in form, you've got Shanklin who we know can find the back of the net, and it's laid on a plate for him as well, Craig, and all he has to do is make a good solid contact and it's in the back of the net.
He's going to get another chance. Mackay was taken out. Shanklin is then caught by Stewart. 25 yards from goal to the left-hand side. It is going to be a free kick. Shanklin helped back to his feet. 6 of Hearts' 19 goals have come from Lawrence Shanklin, and that was one of the easier chances you just expected. Seemed to really open up the foot, almost parallel, and it just skiffed it and went behind. The Hearts have missed a couple of gilt-edged chances, there's no doubt about that. So Hearts, though, have a free kick. There's a real committee round the ball trying to work out what they're going to do with this one. Craig Levein.
Kingsley for me would be the one who's been most accurate from these situations, but we've got Snodgrass there as well, and just some bystanders. I don't know what they're doing there, some of these other ones.
It's always hangers on, isn't there? Trying to make out that they're going to plan it and get the glory. Here's Kingsley. Shanklin's there as well. Mackay too.
It might be a right foot. It might be a right foot from it being on this side of the field. So Mackay, we'll see.
Mackay with a couple of goals this season. Kingsley hasn't scored since the Scottish Cup match against Hibs. So it's Mackay who stands over at 4 on the wall for Aberdeen. Mackay steps up, goes for it, lifted it up and over the top. So the gaggle of players, the hangers-ons, will be saying, "Yep, see, should have taken it."
You understand what he's trying to achieve there.
Yeah.
It just wasn't achievable with the way he hit the ball. He's got to get it over the wall and he's got to try and get it down. now. It doesn't come down at all, does it? Just soars right over the crossbar.
Long by Roos. Down this. Cochrane just flew over Jaden Richardson.
Why is he complaining? I mean, he's 2 arms on his back and he just pushed him to the ground right in front of the linesman.
Now, if he'd been facing the other way, he could have said the sun's in his eyes, but the sun's right behind him, so there's no excuse. That was poor from Alex Cochrane. The Italian papers on Friday morning were not particularly complimentary about Alex Cochrane. They probably didn't realise he was playing out of position as Duke goes down, gets back up, holds on to the ball, does well, plays it back out wide onto Barron. Barron has a little bit of room to work with. Now gets the cross into the area, turned away by Nielsen onto Mackay. Mackay flicks it forward, trying to get over the head of Scales to release Humphreys. Scales on the header, plays it out wide onto Mackenzie. Mackenzie onto Clarkson, wide on that left-hand side. Ball angled in the box. Ball comes into Civic, took it down well. Got the ball away, it's now to Shanklin. Shanklin lifts it high, Scales does well, plays it behind him. Shanklin tried to get it round Scales. Scales sticks out a boot again, does well. He's pirouetted twice, he's fully dizzy, but he still gets the ball out wide. Brilliant play. Clarkson gets it on to Mackenzie. Mackenzie does a little turn, he's away from Kiermort Zoglu, but the ball is out of play. It's a throw into Hearts. Liam Scales, was he always under control, Willie?
No, I didn't think so, but he managed to regain control, I would suggest. You know, it looked as though it was going to slip away from him at one point. And I think his positioning in a couple of occasions in the game hasn't been, you know, good enough down that left-hand side. And, you know, I would think Hearts would try to expose that. And it's simple stuff, it's just playing it over the top of him and getting the runner to gallop onto it. I think he needs to be a little bit more alert, but he did well to recover the situation.
65 minutes gone, Aberdeen and Hearts 0-0. 19 of the 62 games this season in the Scottish Premiership, 0-0 at half-time. Only 3 have gone on to be goalless. As free kick on that far side is going to be awarded. Card's going to come out as well. It's Mackenzie. I'm just double checking it's Mackenzie. I had a pillar right in front of me, so I wasn't 100% sure, but
yeah,
it's Jack Mackenzie.
Yeah.
No
and
doubt.
it was a yellow card.
So referee getting that. So 4 in the book now. Richardson, Snodgrass, Kiermort Zoglu and Mackenzie. And Hearts will have the chance to play the free kick in from the far side, the shaded side of Pittodrie. And in that particular half, the half to our left-hand side, good travelling support, good home support as well. Over 14,500 here as Snodgrass and Mackay stand over the ball. Civic is forward. Humphreys 2. Played in by Mackay, it's deep, it comes in for Kingsley. Kingsley heads it back across goal. Stewart gets the ball away. Mackay then appeared to come through his man. He came through Duke. Well, if he felt the contact, even the slightest breeze, he went down. And the free kick's been awarded, and Mackay is having a little word with the referee to say it never touched him. The referee thought otherwise. Free kick to Aberdeen, the edge of the area. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the substitutions, or the substitutes left for both sides. If one of the teams get in front here, Willie, I don't think they've got enough defenders, either of them on the bench, to shore things up. So if you get one in front, I don't see enough. You know, normally you would think, well, we'll take the points if we can, but I don't think either team have the players to do that.
No, I don't think that Jim Goodwin is in that kind of a state of mind, actually. I think if Aberdeen get one, he'll be wanting 2. That's certainly how he's went about it so far, you know, this season, and particularly at home. I think he wants to please the fans and obviously get a result as well, but, you know, not having any defensive or negative tactics involved.
Good play by Cochrane to hold on to McCrory. McCrory tried to go on the outside of him, played away by Cochrane. Throw into Aberdeen. Richardson just turns and has a little look along to Jim Goodwin. Jim Goodwin wanted McCrory back before the throw was going to be taken. Conor Barron runs towards the corner, then breaks in again. Richardson, Majowski wants it played short, but it's going to go over their heads to Duke inside to the area, up against Civic. Duke takes a couple of touches, plays it back to Conor Barron. Barron got it under control, but just fired it straight at Craig Gordon. I think it was meant to be a cross. Gordon's going to send it long to try and test this Aberdeen back 3. Scales underneath it, gets the header, back flips behind into the area. Stewart under pressure from Shanklin. Shanklin trying to get in front of him. Stewart holds on, he's going to need some help under pressure from Shanklin. Plays the ball to the edge of the area, just out on the left hand side onto Scales. He plays it away. Kiermort Zoglu tries to get away from Duke, wins the ball, plays it back onto Lewis Nielsen. Nielsen back all the way inside the Hearts half, just outside the area, onto Craig Gordon. Gordon stands, just touches the ball with the right boot. Aberdeen not closing him down. So he's going to strike the ball down that far side looking for Humphreys. Scales wins the header, comes on the inside. Breaks down to Snodgrass. Snodgrass. It's the second start for Hearts. Robert Snodgrass, 4th appearance. The ball gets played through. Here McZoglu. Aberdeen return it. Duke under a little bit of pressure. Nielsen does really well. Just shifts Nielsen away. Wins the ball, faces him up. Now he's out wide on that left-hand side. A couple of tricks and turns. He's away from Nielsen. It's about the quality of the cross. It's a good one. Maroski tried to do the backflip, the overhead kick. The ball comes out wide. Barry Mackay played it out. Oh, Jaden Richardson nearly slammed the ball down. I'll tell you what, he's a lucky boy he didn't, because he would have been off.
That's why players,
he would have got a second yellow and would have gone.
That's why players claim.
You're right.
For things.
It is not a
ridiculous.
The thing is, Craig, the linesman's got to take a stand there, because he knows that what was an Aberdeen throw-in, but he's went with the referee just because the referee's pointed very quickly in the other direction.
I mean, it's right down in front of us, right in line with me. That was an Aberdeen throw all day long. We're going to hear from Brian McLaughlin in a moment, because there's a change coming for Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's number 20, Leighton Clarkson, who's coming off. The player coming on, very attacking ploy this by Jim, the Aberdeen manager. It's number 10, Vicente Bejuan, who's coming on.
So he's introduced into the action. It's the first Aberdeen change. Hearts from the throw, try and come forward. It's gone past Kieran Murtzoglu, but he got touched by Scales, who went down. And he's still down. And Hearts are thinking about the free kick. If Richardson had slammed that ball down, I'm fairly convinced the referee would have yellow carded him, and therefore he would have been off. And that would have been a travesty. Ball comes out wide onto Cochrane. Cochrane round the side onto Humphreys. Humphreys drags it on his right boot, still going, but he's under pressure. Oh, he's brilliantly away from Barry's up at the edge of the box. The back heel was outrageous to Cochrane. Back onto Snodgrass. Cross into the middle. Shanklin heads it back. Chance here for Forrest. Let's just say put it high.
Yeah, that was a good chance. I mean, it's at an angle and the ball's coming out the air, but with his ability, you'd think he'd be able to get the ball back into some sort of area that the goalkeeper would have to make a save, but it was very high. And nowhere near the goals, basically.
Pretty much. Here's Barron now, steps forward. There's a one goes down under the challenge of Barry Mackay. Clearly just knocked him down in the back. Free kick, 30 yards from goal. Slightly to the right hand side. So Aberdeen will get the chance to play it forward. Barry Mackay, to his credit, didn't bother to complain.
Well, Desmond knew exactly what he was doing. I knew that Mackay was coming at pace. He just stepped across in front of him and took the contact and then got the free kick. It was a free kick, of course.
It was, yeah.
So Aberdeen.
Rather rash challenge, I would suggest.
Yep. There's one doing well. As Conor Barron just gets a word from Jim Goodwin. There's a one. Comes across. He's chatting away. And Conor Barron. So Aberdeen, everybody's lined outside of the Hearts penalty area. There's a 3-man wall.
It's a high line, isn't it, from Hearts?
Really high. Nobody inside the area. Now Majowski tries to bend his run. The ball gets blasted up and over the top. Majowski basically turns and said, no, I wanted that at my feet. Hearts were really high, but obviously I thought the ball was to play inside.
Yeah, a little kind of a dink ball over the top, I would have suggested, although I think there was about 2 or 3 Aberdeen players that were in an offside position. They went far too early, but they didn't even get a chance to get onto it because it was a dreadful effort from Conor Barron.
72 minutes gone, 0-0 Aberdeen and Hearts. In the sunshine, a beautiful day in Aberdeen. As Nielsen on that far side tries to run the ball through Scales. Scales turns, plays the ball off the Hearts player, so it's going to be a throw into Aberdeen. And Aberdeen will get the chance to bring it forward. He'll take the throw eventually on that far side. Home side unbeaten in this fixture in the last 13 Scottish Premiership matches. Aberdeen, the last away team to be victorious back in 2017 at Tynecastle. The year before, Hearts had won here. As Snodgrass tries the challenge, loses out. Little slide ball in. Chance here for Duke. Chance for Aberdeen. Goal for Aberdeen. Lewis Nielsen couldn't make the challenge. Craig Gordon came out, but Duke scores. Drills the ball past Craig Gordon. Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0.
He takes it really well, and you know the Hearts players are complaining. Well, Craig Gordon is, but you know I think the referee did the right thing, allowing things to get play on as Snodgrass went to the ground, and then a little slip pass, and Duke, who's been a threat all afternoon with the pace in behind, he gets onto it this time and he makes no mistake whatsoever and drills it past Craig Gordon to give Aberdeen a lead.
Yeah, I mean, he did show great composure because he actually slowed up at one point and the Hearts players were getting back to him. I wondered exactly what he was doing, but obviously he knew perfectly well that he was going to get a shot away, and it was a great slide rule pass inside the centre back. So yeah, I mean, listen, Hearts will complain that they deserve to be in front of this match, but this is football, isn't it? If you miss as many chances as they have done, then you find yourself in this position.
Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0. Aberdeen in all competitions, 6 games at home. That's their 21st goal. And they've only conceded 5. And they are ahead against Hearts. Suddenly 4 minutes on the clock when that ball hit the back of the net as the long ball gets played forward by Civic. Headed away. And it's up to the halfway line. Richardson battling for it again inside his own half, down the right hand side, keeps it in, runs past both managers, still going, plays the ball down to Majowski. It wasn't a great deal of pace in the ball. Majowski had to wait for it. Kingsley comes in, makes the challenge, sends the ball away, comes off McCrory, out of play it goes, and Hearts will have the throw between inside their own half. And Shanklin takes it, pings it into the chest of Robert Snodgrass. Back onto Cochrane once more. Cochrane closed down, plays the ball back. Majowski, Kingsley almost tried to take him out. He's outside the box, he's going into the area, and Kingsley has to knock it away. Kingsley yells at Cochrane. Aberdeen get the corner. It was poor from Alex Cochrane, but Kingsley in all sorts of trouble, nearly had to foul Majowski.
Yeah, I don't know what Cochrane was thinking of there. I mean, passing the ball back the way, I mean, there wasn't any space for Kingsley to receive the ball. It was a crazy decision.
And that's the last thing you need. You know, you've just lost a goal, you're trying to get your composure back, you're in a tight situation. Don't give the ball away like that. Don't give, you know, Aberdeen the benefit of putting yourself under duress, and that's exactly what they did.
Barron with a corner, the header from McCrory, up and over the top it goes. And that's a corner Hearts should never have conceded, so they'll be delighted to see Aberdeen make nothing of it. It's Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0. Duke, the goal scorer, scored on his only Aberdeen start down at Easter Road on his first home start. He nets against Hearts, and that's the difference in the game. Hearts arguably had chances. Cochrane with a bad miss in the first half, and Shanklin, well, it should have been a tap-in for him in the second half, and he sent it wide. Aberdeen have taken their chance. Now Duke plays the ball forward. Bezoed steps in, it's 20 yards from goal. Kieran McZoglu with a tackle from behind. Play on, says the referee. Breaks the Ramadani up at the edge of the D, has to pull the ball back, comes into Richardson. Ramadani pulls the ball back onto McCrory, onto Stewart inside his own half. Stewart forward, onto Scales. Scales now can play it out wide, onto Jack McKenzie. McKenzie down the side, Nielsen goes in, Duke went down. The ball is out of play. It's going to be a throw into Aberdeen on that far side, and of course the tempo now can change for Aberdeen if they want to, Craig. Don't have to push forward at every opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I was interested in Willie's comments earlier on when we were speaking about this, about how he would shore it up or not, but you think he'll...
I think he'll keep going for it, yeah.
Good.
And certainly, you know, the indications are that that's the case. I don't see any movement towards restricting any of the three centre-backs to sit back or make any substitutions that would throw on a defender, you know, like a Jack Milne, for instance, could. But there's no point in doing that. You've got three centre-backs there as it is. No, I think Jim Goodwin will continually ask when it's on for his team to go forward.
Hearts have the ball inside their own half. Kingsley inside onto Civic. Kieran McZoglu comes forward just on the halfway line, turns, plays the ball back onto Civic. Snodgrass is saying got to play it forward. Humphreys is making a run. Civic's being allowed to run, so he's going to do so, then steps inside, almost ran towards Duke, offered him the ball, and they managed to get it back onto Nielsen. Nielsen plays it out wide onto Forrest. Forrest down the side. Shankland is there. Shankland ahead of Scales. Outside the box on the angle. Drags the ball back inside for Forrest. Good tackle by Aberdeen. It's Connor Barron. Now back up to Duke, the goal scorer. Nielsen went in for the challenge. Duke just accelerated past him. Still going. Nielsen tries to track him back. Still going. Duke up at the edge of the area. Bezelwin. Bezelwin should finish this for Aberdeen! And he does so. Lifts it round Craig Gordon. Aberdeen get their second goal. Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0.
Well, Hearts are all over the place, aren't they? You know, Nielsen doesn't do his job out in the wide area, allows Duke to actually leisurely go by him, go by him, and then, you know, driving forward, and Bezelwin coming from that deep lying position, totally free down the right hand side, and then he gets his sight and goal.
Wasn't it?
It's a good
spot.
Aye, absolutely. He's playing with a head up. But he shouldn't be allowed to run that far. That's what I'm saying. He runs, you know, a good 20 yards, and then it all opens up. There's huge gaps in the Hearts defence. Bezelwin comes to that midfield area into a striking area. It's a slip pass, and he's not going to make any mistake from that range.
Well, Hearts might rethink the changes in set 8. Bezelwin scoring 7th of the season. He'd previously been ever present, dropped to the bench today. And manages to get the goal. Finished it beautifully. Aberdeen have a man down, so they're going to have to apply some TLC. And it's Duke on that far side.
I've been impressed with Duke today, Willie. I think his running he's looked really lively, hasn't he? He's really lively, and he's got a goal and set one up as well.
Yeah, I mean, his pace is confident as well. I mean, there was one of his movements about 10-15 minutes ago had me dizzy, actually, watching his legs. You know, the amount of times that he stepped over the ball to try and you know, bewilder the defender. But it's his directness and his pace, I think, that really is his main strength. Okay, he goes down early, and he'll need to watch that. You know, I think he'll maybe get a name, and I think he is the type of player that will enjoy a standing ovation as well.
That's just what he's getting.
The home fans particularly happy with the way he's played. Let's go to Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's a terrific round of applause here for Duke as he comes off. He's been magnificent this afternoon. The player coming on to replace him will be Marley Watkins. It looks like there's also going to be a couple of changes. They were ready. Connor Smith and Peter Haring were ready to come on. They went back into the dugout. They've just come back out once again. Gordon, the kitman for Hearts, is actually trying to tell the fourth official, number 17, Alan Forrest, will be replaced by Connor Smith, and Peter Haring will be coming on as well. He moved from midfield to centre back in midweek in Florence. He'll be coming on for the last few minutes here, and he'll be replacing number 77, Robert Snodgrass.
Thanks, Brian. So Hearts with the two changes. 36 minutes of this second half has elapsed, and Hearts find themselves 2 down at Pittodrie. They've had their chances, they didn't take them, and Aberdeen are going to have 3 straight home wins for the first time since December, when they beat Livy, St Johnstone and Dundee. And they pick up and play the ball wide, Hearts, but again Cochrane finds himself in a difficult position. All the ball is knocked out of play by Richardson. Aberdeen failed to score in that loss against Dundee United. They scored in the previous 8, and they're on the score sheet twice so far this afternoon. Duke and Bezelwin. Cochrane has it for Hearts, deep inside his own half, trying to come forward. Goes down, no free kick given. Watkins was strong enough. Cochrane looks across at the referee, simply points his arm out the way of Aberdeen to say it's a free kick. The way of the Dons, in fact, might just leave it and give the throw. It's correct. Now the throw comes in from Richardson. Majowski leaves it out to Kingsley. Mackay's dropped deep to the edge of his area, sends it long, looking for Humphreys on that far side, trying to get the run on Mackenzie, didn't defend it well. Humphreys on that far side, turns, plays the ball past Ramadani. Smith for Hearts, was 27, cross into the area, straight into the arms of Roos, who drops down onto his knees to waste another couple of seconds. And Craig Levein, what looked like a promising afternoon for Hearts, is not ending well.
No, and I just wonder how much of this is down to tiredness late in the game. They just don't seem to have the same spark. There was one run that Kingsley made maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago that you think yourself, it's like he was treading water almost. So I think there's an element of that. But all credit to Aberdeen. You know, they've been a threat throughout the match, although we did say that Hearts have had the better chances. But Aberdeen have always been in the game, they've always been positive, they've always tried to create opportunities, and I thought this might be a tall order for Hearts today, particularly late in the match.
Long ball from the goalkeeper. Watkins, the substitute, won the initial header, then ran through Peter Haring. Peter Haring has taken a severe knock to the head, so he's going to get checked, and immediately Hearts call them on. Well, so far in the match, 27 total shots. Aberdeen have 5 of their 16 on target. Hearts just 3 of their 11. Clear-cut chances, certainly Aberdeen have made the better of those. 4 to Hearts 1. Peter Haring is down at the moment.
I think it's a head knock.
Yeah.
The looks of things.
I think Watkins came through the back of him. And of course, any head knock now taken the right way, very seriously. 2 physios on, just checking Peter Haring. Make sure all is okay. Craig Gordon has the ball at his feet.
Yeah, it was a forehead, wasn't it? It was Watkins' forehead into the back of Haring's head. You saw he's really shaky. I don't think he's going to.
His feet there.
I don't think he's going to be able to continue if he's like that.
Well, he's walking off slowly. I'm just looking to see if there's a signal towards the Hearts bench. He's now turning back. No, he can't continue. He's now gone back down onto the ground. He's crouched down. It'd just genuinely be better getting him off the field of play if that's the case. And that is going to be the case. So it was a real sore one. And he's not walking in a straight line either. And he's just bent over just now. Aberdeen are getting some attention as well on that far side.
Jack McKenzie is on
down.
the left-hand side. Yeah, he's down. Don't know what's wrong with him, but he went down. He's getting a bit of attention as well. But Peter Haring, I mean, he's struggling. He's struggling. He's got 2 physios either side of him, but
he's swaying about all over the place.
I think you're probably better with the stretcher on.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't, but they're now calling for the stretcher. They're going to lie him down. They're just going to make sure that his neck is comfortable, but they will have to call for the stretcher to come on. Majowski is just waving on the stretcher party a little bit quicker. Another physio comes out just to do a little check. Mackenzie's still being checked on that far side. Hearts players now coming round. Peter Haring to check on him. Ambulance volunteers coming on with the green first aid bibs. They will have that stretcher and get ready to get Peter Haring on that stretcher. But the Hearts physios will only be when they're good and ready to make sure he can be safely transferred onto that stretcher. Let's go to Brian McLaughlin again. There is going to be another change. This time it will come the way of Aberdeen.
Yeah, it does look as if Marley, I'm not quite sure exactly. It's Matty Kennedy, I think
Kennedy's coming on.
It's coming on, and he'll be replacing number 3, Jack McKenzie. And it's interesting, George Grant's been ready as well, obviously, to be a replacement for Peter Haring. Very sad to see this at the moment.
So those are the changes made. Thank you, Brian. On comes Matty Kennedy into the bench for just the 3rd time this season. Peter Haring remains down at the moment. The players, Aberdeen players, all in their half, with the exception of Bezoan and Majowski.
Well, there's the answer, Craig. Matty Kennedy comes on for Jack McKenzie. Jack McKenzie, a more defensive player, and Matty Kennedy going to take over that role in the left wing back, more a wide player. So
yeah, but I just wondered if McKenzie had a problem because he was down.
He did. Oh, no, he did have a problem. Yeah. But it'd be easy to reorganise and maybe get. Yeah,
he's not got
Jack Milne. He's got the centre back. Jack Milne could go on. He's a centre back.
He's not actually got that many defensive-minded players on the bench at all, Jim.
No. And you could have put Scales out there and Jack Milne on, but I think putting Matty Kennedy on, no problem with that. He can play that position. It's not an out-and-out left back either. It's a wing back that he's going to be asked to play, and he's played that position
before. There before, yeah.
So still treatment being given to Peter Haring down below us. A second stretcher is coming on to the field of play. I think there's a neck brace coming as well, and the work of the medical volunteers and professionals, sometimes overlooked in the world of football, but just taking the time, doing a good job. They do have him on that stretcher. He is moving, Peter Haring.
You could tell immediately though, Paul, couldn't you? I mean, sometimes it's not how hard you're hit, it's where you're hit. And you know, sometimes that can be you know, in a vulnerable area, but Peter was wobbly as soon as it happened, and you know, he tried to get back up and he could hardly stand. So I mean, I think it's the only decision is to get him off as safely as possible.
Yeah, head injury or concussion has to be treated with utmost respect. It's about the player, it's not about the club. Certainly in America over the last few weeks, real headlines about Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami quarterback, who appeared to be concussed in a very similar way when he walked to Peter Haring there. They played him in the next game and he got himself hurt again, and that's led to a change in concussion protocol across the National Football League in America. And certainly football is taking concussion a lot more seriously as well. So as Brian mentioned, George Grant is about to come on for Peter Haring, who's been taken down to our left hand side, and he'll be assessed and the medical treatment required. So both managers down standing trackside earlier on today. Motherwell 1, Rangers 2. Tillman and Lundstrom for Rangers, McKinstry for Motherwell. Here this afternoon, Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0. Duke after 74 minutes. There's a win after 78. That the difference in these sides. And Aberdeen at the moment are going on to 16 points. The jump above Hearts. Level on points now with St Mirren will jump above Livingston as well. I'm sure Richard will run through all of that. The tail of the game, Stewart plays the ball forward up to the centre circle. Grant plays it out wide. Sibic is there. Back into Grant. Grant sends the ball forward. It's going to be picked up by Ramadani. Smith goes in, takes him down. Free kick. Stoppage like that, Willie, so close to the end of the game, you know, and probably both teams are thinking the game's done to a certain extent.
Yeah, I would suggest that would be the case. You know, I think
7 minutes, Willie.
It's 7 minutes added on, is it? And I think, you know, Hearts will be feeling it. They'll be feeling the exertions of their European adventure, and they'll be looking back on it, and they'll be frustrated that they have created chances and haven't been able to take them. And on another day, you know, they might have got themselves in front, and then it's a different game. But you know, Aberdeen have always been a threat. They've always been in the game. You know, I think there's been chances created in either side. Of course, Aberdeen have taken, you know, both of their opportunities, and that's the difference. That is the difference on the afternoon. I think it's been a good performance from Hearts. I don't think that Robbie Nielsen can be disappointed, and I'm sure that Jim Goodwin will be delighted.
Aberdeen send a long ball that should run through onto Craig Gordon. Hearts coming into this had lost 14 goals in 4 games. They've been ahead in none of those matches, and they've lost 2 here this afternoon, so 16-5. The last win remains the 3-0 at Motherwell. It came after winning 2-0 away in Riga. Ball out wide to that far side. Humphreys onto Shankland. Shankland outside the box on the right hand side, plays it through to Humphreys. McCrory comes across well, read the situation. Ross McCrory thumps the ball out of play. Shankland and Humphreys look promising together. Smith plays the ball on the outside. Civic's not going to get there, and that's just going to be left to run out of play. It's going to be a throw in the corner, right in the corner for Aberdeen. Hearts will try and apply some pressure and not make it easy for Aberdeen to get out. But when the full-time whistle goes, the fact will be Hearts will have played 17 games this season. They will have won just 5. This will be their 10th defeat of the season. Just a couple of draws coming against Hibs and last week against Kilmarnock. Throw will come from Scales. Scales down the side. Hearts get a little head flick on. Kieran Mazzoglu tries the shot from the edge of the box, and that's going to run out for a throw on this left-hand side, probably about 7 yards from the corner flag. Being kind, the intent was correct. The execution, I think he was off balance when he tried to get his foot at the ball. Screwed off from the side and all the way across. Both managers standing pitch side. One little quirks of life, both managers capped just once for the respective countries. Robbie Nielsen being capped for Scotland against Ukraine, and the Republic of Ireland for Jim Goodwin. Came on, he replaced Roy Keane in the international match against Finland. Now coming forward come Hearts, they're going to get a free kick. Shankland goes down, thought about taking it quickly. Aberdeen were standing right in front of the ball. So Hearts quite rightly didn't take it. Would have been a poor decision because there's nowhere to go. So they're going to try and line up a little free kick. Hearts need to see if they can find the back of the net. Killaroos looking for a 7th clean sheet in 15 Aberdeen appearances. Here's Aberdeen are ahead of Hearts by 2-0. Stephen Humphreys looking to score in their 3rd straight game. 3 in the wall for Aberdeen. Goalkeeper protecting his post, his left hand side. Humphreys goes out, just thumps it against the wall. Somebody's winded down there. I think it's Ross McCrory. And as the ball comes back, dragged on as Aberdeen try and bring the ball forward. Hearts try and put the ball down. There's a late challenge. And Grant is the player. The yellow card comes out. And Humphreys goes in. There's now a bit of pushing going in. Cochrane races in. Ramadani is in there. Scales didn't like the challenge. Grant, who was yellow carded, walks away. It was Connor Barron who got taken out. And the referee is going to book Liam Scales as well. So one apiece. When these two teams go head to head, they can get a bit tasty. Although the last 6 red cards in this fixture have all been for Hearts players. The question is to Craig Levine and Willie Miller, should that have been a 7th in a row?
I wouldn't have been surprised.
I wouldn't have been surprised. I mean,
that was ridiculous because Robbie's already got major problems with injuries, and you know, for him to get himself into a situation where he might have been sent off, it's another player that's missing for at least a couple of matches.
Yeah, it's daft, you know. And was it Grant? Was it?
Yeah, it was Grant.
That put the challenge in. You know, Connor Barron's gone nowhere. He's on the touchline. He just takes off, and there's no real attempt to get the ball. He kind of throws his leg in the ball's direction, but the intent was there to take the player, you know, out the game totally. And if it had been a red card, then I don't think there's any argument.
Smith goes down, plays the ball wide to Humphreys. Humphreys racing through. Scales tries to stop him, does enough. Connor Barron plays the ball back. It's into Shanklin. Shanklin almost got the shot away. It's Roos, the edge of his 6-yard box, who manages to clear. Aberdeen leading by 2-0. Looking for a 3rd here. Majowski steps past Kingsley. Beautiful little drive back away from Smith and then runs in to Kingsley as well. But the Aberdeen fans liked the play of the North Macedonian. Good tracking back by Marley Watkins as well. Long ball gets played forward by Aberdeen. Cochrane sends it inside for Craig Gordon. Gordon gets the ball away up towards the halfway line. We've played 5 of the 7 minutes recommended in stoppage time. And the referee says that's a free kick. Shanklin taking down Barron. Well, Connor Barron's played well.
See, I don't think that's fair, picking on the smallest guy in the pitch.
It happened to me all the time, Willie. Different level of football, but I was always the smallest guy. I was just going to say what's interesting for Connor Barron. I mean, it's just his first start of the season. It's just the 17th Aberdeen appearance. And he looks very, very composed in there. He's chasing after that ball and knocks it out of play. Thought he got it off the toe of Mackay, didn't do so. And Hearts will get a throw. And they'll just take the time on the halfway line. Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0. It's going to be another home victory for Aberdeen. They've won 7 of the last 10 against Hearts here. A couple of draws were both 0-0. As Cochrane launches it long. Stewart heads the ball away, breaks down for Grant, who arguably is lucky boy still to be on the park. Here's Mackay, wide on the left-hand side. Mackay, 2 in front of him, turns, plays the ball back to George Grant. Grant lays it back to Cochrane. Cochrane back on the outside to Grant. Down the side it goes to Mackay. Good tracking back. Ball gets knocked out of play. We're inside the final minute of the recommended 7. Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0. Hearts losing Andy Halliday in the first half to injury. Peter Haring as well, stretchered off. So the defeat is coming at a cost as well as Mackay plays the ball through. No way through on that occasion for Smith, so you have to bring the ball back now to Mackay. Touched out of play by Richardson. The referee will look at his watch in a moment, as he might decide enough is enough. They're right down by the tunnel as well. Short journey for the players to make. So the ball gets thrown into the box. Now at the area edge, Shanklin, ball pitch, pulled back. And there is the full-time whistle. Well, Hearts had their chances, but Aberdeen took theirs. And Aberdeen move on to 16 points. They leapfrog the visitors. Goals in the second half. Duke after 74 minutes. Vessel win after 78 was enough to give Aberdeen all 3 points. It's finished at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0.
On digital radio.